Prowlers wrap up their 3-game road set in upstate New York as they continue to visit the Watertown Wolves. Good afternoon, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you at Watertown Municipal Arena. Thanks so much for joining us today. Well, the Prowlers clinched their spot in the Commissioner's Cup playoffs last night with a shootout victory over the Wolves. And behind me are 3 championship banners belonging to the Watertown Wolves, the most championships in FPHL history. With Topeka's win in Indiana earlier this afternoon, the Wolves have officially been eliminated from the 2026 Commissioner's Cup playoffs. There has not been a team until this year that has called this building home that has failed to make the Commissioner's Cup playoffs in FPHL history. This is the first year that has happened. There are some new faces in the playoffs this season, and we'll talk about that and more coming up on the pregame show next. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
Is that him?
Look over there. It's Bob. Wow, just look at that hair. Ever since he started getting his stuff from Global, the guy's unstoppable.
So that's what confidence can do?
That's just not fair.
Oh my goodness, it's Bob! Bob! Bob!
Give me the phone. I'm calling Global Pharmacy Plus for myself.
Welcome back here to Watertown Municipal Arena. Will Wiggleman with you on this Sunday Fun Day afternoon. Thanks for joining us. The second game between these teams this weekend as the Prowlers visited the Wolves last night. And boy, was that an interesting game for a lot of different reasons. Take a look back at the highlights. The Prowlers did get on the board first. They had to kill off a penalty for the first 2 minutes of the game after a violation during warm-ups. And Luke James scored the early goal just seconds after that penalty expired. James, on his mom's birthday, wanted me to give another belated birthday shout out to his mom. He gets the first goal of the game. We would hear more from Luke James as this one went on. The Wolves tied it up. Marquis Grant Mentis fired one right off the faceoff, and it was 1-1 after 20 minutes of play. Perfect clean face-off win from Brad Ryder, and Grant Mentis wired it past Bailey Huber. That's where we were after one. Move to the second. Prowlers on a power play. Check out the seam pass from Blake Anderson to Austin Federley. He's able to shovel the puck to the net and put Port Huron in front. Federley getting himself back on the board. And again, great pass from Anderson to Austin Federley. And the Prowlers had the 2-1 lead at that point. Then later in the period, right off a face-off win, Brett Lockhart was able to walk in and pick his spot. Face-off win's important. Both teams scoring directly off of one in that game last night. Take another look at the rip from Lockhart. He wired that one home. Prowlers would continue to roll in a second period that Coach Paulin said he thought it was one of the worst for his team that he's seen all season, but they did get some results as Tim Morgan finishes off gives the give and go back to Blake Anderson, who finishes it off. So despite the poor play for the Prowlers in that second period, They do get 3 goals. They're opportunistic. And they had a 4-1 lead. They had a 4-1 lead in the final seconds of period 2. This was a big goal from FM Michigan with 16 seconds left in the middle frame. And that gave the Wolves some life, gave them an opportunity to tie the game up. Then we get to the third. It's 4-2 at this point. This is when everything broke loose. Quinn Shevers started throwing punches at Brian Parsons while Shevers was on the bench. Shevers was suspended for this game. Then you see Bobby Price going after Marquise Grant-Mentis, who was involved in the original scrum with Shevers and Parsons as well. Dustin Henning, Parsons' former teammate, tackling him down to make sure that everybody is behaving. Shevers was suspended, and all 4 of Shevers, Parsons, Price, and Grant-Mentis were out of the game at that point. Late stages of regulation, Igor Filipov making his presence known as he pulled the Wolves within 4 seconds into a power play. And then in the final seconds of the game, 6-on-5 attack, Filipov ties it up, and Watertown able to come all the way back from a 4-1 deficit to force overtime and eventually a shootout. Round number 1, Prowlers sent out Brett Lockhart for his first shot on a shootout this season, and he converts low on Ricky Gonzalez, who came in to replace Grant Linville after the 4th Prowler goal. Luke James, similar spot, and it was a 2-1 lead for the Prowlers at that point. Still 2-1 going into round number 3, and Austin Federley, who was hurt the last 2 times the Prowlers were in shootouts, finished it off and officially sent his team to the Commissioner's Cup playoffs. Luke James got credit for the shootout winner as the Prowlers clinched their playoff berth. And for the second time in a week, the Prowlers chased a rookie goaltender, making his pro debut as Linville left after 4 goals on 24 shots in 37 minutes and 31 seconds of work. So we take a look at what that means for the standings in the Empire Division. The Topeka Scarecrows just closed out a win over the Indiana Sentinels. That officially eliminated the Watertown Wolves from playoff contention. Also moved Topeka back into 3rd place in the Empire. Again, that game going final just a few minutes ago. But the Prowlers get that X next to their name for the first time this season after the win last night. Officially punched their ticket to the 2026 Commissioner's Cup playoffs. 2 more spots available and 3 teams battling for them. The Hat-Tricks have a lot of work to do, and they'll need a lot of help if they are to make the playoffs, but they are technically still alive, 14 points back with 8 games remaining. Well, the Wolves are bringing in a new face. He's one of our players to watch. That would be Baron Samard, a rookie who has played 6 games this season, all in the SPHL with the Evansville Thunderbolts. No points, 2 PIMs, and 3 shots on goal for the rookie who played the last 2 years in the MJAHL up in Canada. Also has some QMJHL experience. Well, for the Prowlers, it's not a rookie, it's a veteran who we're spotlighting this afternoon. Brian Parsons is playing in his 300th career FPHL game. This is the building where it all started for Parsons. He played part of his rookie season as a Watertown Wolf before a midseason trade brought him over to Port Huron. He's also 2 points away from 100 in his career. Let's take a look at where Parsons and the rest of the Prowlers are slotting in on the projected lineup. Couple of changes here. Garrison Gagnon unavailable tonight for school-related reasons. So Austin Federley drops back to defense once again. He'll play alongside Ben Brockway. Brian Parsons and Brett Lockhart will be the another defense pairing for the Prowlers. Tim Morgan and Nick Favaro staying together, but Parsons taking Gagnon's spot alongside Lockhart. Jamie Bussell moves to wing with Matt Graham and Lucas Lockney, which is where Federley was last night. And Alex Ray slots back into the lineup. He'll center Artu Hakala and Luke James. Bailey Huber is back between the pipes for Port Huron. So no Reed Cooper for the second straight night. Huber is playing back-to-back games. Forget back-to-back nights. he's playing back-to-back games for the first time in his pro career. As the Wolves are getting set to hit the ice here, Prowlers have hit the ice. We'll see if there's any more boiling over coming after all the shenanigans last night. 125 combined penalty minutes between the teams and 4 game misconducts given out in the same play. 2 to the Prowlers, Brian Parsons and Bobby Price. 2 to the Wolves, Quinn Shevers and Marquise Grant Mentis. And Shevers is suspended this afternoon, and that suspension is pending league review. So he is at least suspended today, but possibly for longer. That will be further reviewed by Dave Jackson and the FPHL Director of Player Safety Department. And we'll see later this week if he gets more games than that. Prowlers are going to be playing the Wolves 2 weeks from now in Port Huron, and 4 more games after tonight, after this afternoon, between these two teams. So still lots of opportunities for these teams to get at it. They have done a lot of battling this season, a lot of rough stuff between whistles. So we'll see if, again, that continues to boil over this afternoon. I did not see Marquise Grant Mentis during warm-ups. I don't believe that he will be in the lineup for the Wolves. Let's take you down to ice level for this afternoon's national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps. This afternoon, please welcome Meredith Dunkel from the band Undefeated with the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars
That is the national anthem from Watertown. The Prowlers and the Wolves getting set to go this afternoon. Little Sunday fun day action. Both teams wrapping up 3-3s. It is the second game of the weekend between these clubs. Let's take a look at the Orthopedic Associates starting lineup for the Port Huron Prowlers. Price, Tecumseh, and Anderson starting up front. Blake Anderson with family all the way from Peavine, Alberta, visiting. Brian Parsons will get the start on defense in game number 300 in the FPHL. And Bailey Huber back between the pipes for the second straight game. So it'll be Huber against Rico Gonzalez for the Watertown Wolves. Gonzalez came in last night and made 17 saves on 17 shots in relief of Grant Linville, but he went 0 for 3 in the shootout, and that's how the Prowlers got the victory. Meanwhile, Huber, as we mentioned, starting back-to-back games for the first time in his career, 25 saves and 1 for 2 in the shootout last night was Bailey Huber. Well, the Prowlers and Meyer combining for the Goals for Good program. For every goal the Prowlers score this season, Meyer will donate money to help families in need. So far this season, the Prowlers and Meyer have helped deliver over 8,600 meals to families in our community. We're underway here in Watertown between the Prowlers and the Wolves. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. And we get a quick whistle just 6 seconds in after Rico Gonzalez caught the dump in. See Bobby Price there. He was one of the 4 players kicked out of the game last night. Brian Parsons quickly off to the bench, and Austin Federley, the first one on, first change of the night, of the afternoon for either side. Price behind the net, trying to wheel away from Baron Simard, number 5. New signing for the Wolves. Return feed in front to Price was taken away. Here comes Matt Gilbert, number 88. Gilbert slips past Austin Federley. Price comes back to grab the puck. Got it up to Anderson. 3 Wolves back to meet Blake Anderson. He waits for help. Tried to pass it off to James. Taken away by Newman. James has Alex Ray heading towards the net. Ray trying to get on that puck. Dylan Marty pulls it out. Favaro at the top, D to D. Morgan hard off the back wall as his shot missed the net. Sent across off of Benchich, and Ray takes back over. Morgan ahead to Ray. Poked off his stick. Now it's Mishkin. Dropping it back to Gordon. Prowlers in the midst of a change. Dumped right in on Huber, and he hangs on for a whistle and a face-off. Early stages of this one, still searching for the game's first goal. Face-off will be here to Huber's right. Brad Ryder is between 2 wingers who did not play last night. Tyler Inlow and Vladimir Vadiev. Inlow wearing number 2, Vadiev 22. As Ben Brockway takes the puck, and he ran into Inlow through the shoulder into Brockway. Popped off the wall, Powers a shot, he scores! An early goal for the Wolves. It's Roger Powers with his first of the year. Prowlers can't get it out. It's turned over. And a nice pass from Inlow to Powers, who was able to wire one from the high slot. And the veteran defenseman gets the scoring started on this Sunday afternoon. Prowlers playing from behind for the first time in Watertown this weekend. As Bobby Price drops it back to Organ. Dumped right in on Gonzalez. He left it right in front of his crease for Dustin Henning to retrieve. Up the wall towards Newman. Newman bounced it out. Price over to Organ. Ahead to Anderson. He gave it up to Newman. Back the other way comes Gilbert, all by himself. Gilbert trying to drag through Favaro. That doesn't work. Organ for Price. Has a man breaking on the near side. That's Anderson. Price wheeling. Got it behind the net to Blake Anderson. Anderson turns up high. Fake the drop. Had to put it on net. That hit a body in front. Anderson right back on the puck. But he lost it to Gordon. Gilbert couldn't flip it out. Gets back on it. Goes back to Gordon. Varava. Over to Gordon. Back over to Varava. Looks for a headman feed. That was tipped along into Prowler territory. Filipov beats Parsons to it. Try to back pass out. as Parsons took him into the end wall. Here comes Luke James, walking in and shooting, and his shot gobbled up by Ricky Gonzalez. Just over 3 minutes gone in period one. Roger Powers, the only goal so far. As Luke James trying to find that tying goal. See Alex Ray there heading towards the net. Ray was scratched last night. This is his second game of the weekend. Jamie Bucell out there with Matt Graham and Lucas Lockney. Bucell moving to this line with Austin Federley dropping back to D. Here's Bucell with a chance, kicked out by Gonzalez. Didn't get everything he wanted on that shot. Wolves trying to move up with numbers. It's Filipov wristing one towards the net. And right in the breadbasket of Bailey Huber, and then Brockway going after Mishkin has taken a penalty. Lockney wanted to have a word with FM Mishkin. Looks like Ben Brockway is heading to the box here. And the Prowlers PK will get an early test after cross-checking is called. Wolves went 1 for 5 on the power play last night. Now sitting 8th in the FPHL, 20.4%. They got that late power play goal to get within 1. It was Igor Filipov's first before Filipov tied the game. Shot blocked by Anderson. Gordon gave it down low. Centering feed, saved by Huber on Hall. Varava at the top. Over to Filipov, his wrister. Off a body and wide, may have hit Hall, may have hit Huber. In front, floated up high. Varava walks in and shoots. And Huber hangs on. Wolves coming out with all kinds of energy on this Sunday game. Take another look at that chance. Varava from up high. His third game as a Wolf, had a couple of helpers last night. Off the faceoff, Michigan won it to the boards. Here's Varava walking the line. Filipov turns and fires, and a save by Huber. Filipov didn't even look at the net when he shot it. That kind of deception is something that Reggie Millette has taken advantage of a few times this season for the Prowlers. Varava pinches down the wall. Gordon bounced it back up high. Ray chipped it past Varava. Here comes Alex Ray working on Filipov. Ray trying to get back to that puck. Filipov throws the body into Alex Ray. And Varava takes it. Varava leaves it for Bencic. Marian Bencic wheels in. Stepping around Organ. Spins back. Got it up to Gilbert. All the way around the net. Up high, Samad. Now Gilbert. As Samad knocked down a Prowler. Penalty coming up against the newest Watertown Wolf, Baron Samard. Now as Luke James is now getting back to his skates, watching the left side of your screen. You see Samard there, number 5. Just set the pick on James. Can't do that, that's interference. And we'll have some 4-on-4 for the next 36 seconds before an abbreviated Prowler power play. Prowlers have Price, Anderson, Parsons, and Favaro out there. Wolves countering with Varava, Mishkin, Filipov, and Gordon. Watertown starts ahead. Filipov curls back and slid it over to the near side where Gordon collects. Slid it up, cut off by Favaro at the line. His wrister just goes wide along the ice. Favaro again, over to Anderson, walks in, trying to make one more pass over. That was blocked by Mishkin. Varava had his pocket picked by Blake Anderson, who wheels around the net. Tried to chip it ahead, that didn't work. Mishkin gave it to Reiter fresh off the bench. Brockway is out of the box, so now it's a Prowler power play. tossed ahead by Gordon and knocked down by Brian Parsons. Parsons hands it off behind the net for Oregon. He heads off for a change as the Prowlers get their power play unit out. Lockhart for Oregon. Works in slowly. Puck slides to the near corner. Clapped around by McDonald, kept in by Lockhart. Prowlers set up with 52 seconds to go on their power play. Oregon at the top. Over to Federley. Takes a look towards the net. Back to Oregon. Lets it go, and a save by Gonzalez. Lockhart. Oregon. Federley takes a look. This time he'll put it towards the net. That was blocked away, and Ryder able to send it all the way down. 30 seconds left on the Port Huron man advantage. Here's Oregon. Lead pass for Anderson. And to chip it ahead, Arttu Heikkila working in with a shot off a body. Heikkila gets back to it. Anderson digging away. Puck popped up in the air, lands back in the scrum. Bucell takes over. Had it knocked off his stick nicely by Gonzalez, who swung his stick. Samard out of the box. We're back to 5-on-5. Both teams 0 for 1 on the man advantage. Heikkila backhands the puck deep. Gonzalez left it behind the cage. Ray was in there trying to cause some trouble. Meanwhile, getting to that puck and moving it along to Mishkin. And now it's Bencic. Backpedaling. Had his attempt blocked. Marty couldn't chip it past Varava cleanly. Varava had to deal with a couple of Prowlers there. And Ben Brockway takes over. Bounces it around to Parsons. Ray was hooked. And the Prowlers will be going back to the man advantage. Their second of the game, and this time it will be a full one as Vladimir Fadiev heads to the sin bin. We'll be right back. Early stages of period one, already 1-0 Watertown.
This isn't working. LJ, pass me those flyers. No look behind the back pass. It's a whole play. I'll take, come on. Gap up. Close the gap. Close the gap. What are we saying? This isn't working. We need a shift change. Let's bring in the professionals.
Hello, I'm home. There he is. What is happening? Relax. We won. They brought back the snack wrap. Spicy or ranch? Spicy. Yeah, go. Yeah. Just one little bite. Can you stop? Oh, sorry.
Gather your crew. Snack Wrap is back.
Back here in Watertown, Prowlers going back to the man advantage as Vladimir Fadiev is in the penalty box. Collegiate signing on February the 24th. Spent 4 years at Lawrence University. A teammate of Dylan Marty there. This is his 5th game as a Wolf, and he has 2 assists. Did not play it last night. Port Huron back to the man advantage. They set it back up. It's Oregon at the top. Down low to Graham. Touch pass in front. Came all the way through to Lockhart. Lockney couldn't reach out for it. Lockhart over to Oregon. Federley looking from the corner. In front, Graham got a touch on it. It's right in the crease. Gonzalez can't cover, now he does.
7 minutes, 28 seconds. Watertown penalty to number 22, Vladimir Fadiev.
Prowlers get a good chance in tight.
Time of the penalty, 7 minutes, 28
You see Graham right there trying to poke at that puck. Port Huron switching up the lines here, and they'll go with their other power play unit. Price poked it back to the point, but he split his defense, and the Prowlers have to start over. Heikkila for Anderson into the offensive zone. Throws on the brakes. Blake Anderson over to Price. Now Bucell. Price again. Bucell quickly up top to Favaro. Anderson walks in and shoots. Save! Rebound available. It's batted around and slid out of the zone. Oh, Favaro back forward in his own end. 11.5 left to go in period one. Past the midway point of this Prowler power play. Anderson tried to play it towards the middle. That was cut off. And Ryder clears. Price starts ahead. Port Huron in the midst of a change. Price slides it to Lockney fresh off the bench. Tried to go to Lockhart. Ryder interrupted that. Price over to Federley. Whips it ahead to Lockhart. Hard off the backboards. Federley gets to it. Tried to play it up the near side wall, but only Hunter Hall was there. He'll fire it right down on Huber. 15 seconds left on this Port Huron man advantage. That pass didn't connect. And another clear here for Watertown as Gordon sent it the length of the ice. Fadiev out of the box. Prowler's power play comes up empty. Mishkin gave it back to Varava. Ahead to Gordon. Tried to tip it along. And now we have something else here. Too many men on the ice is the call, and it looks like it may be against the Prowlers here. Indeed it is. So Matt Graham will go and serve. And the Wolves will head back to the man advantage. Mishkin and James on this face-off. Comes to the boards, Varava, gave it across, one-timer, Filipov. Blocked it away by Bailey Huber. Brockway trying to send it out, Varava, moved it down deep. Ray takes over, turns the corner. James able to poke it from Hall, who just did keep it in at the line. Gordon sent it towards the net, blocked. Faro gets to it, and it's sent all the way down. 30 seconds gone in the too many men on the ice penalty. Lockhart intercepts a headman feed. Lockhart dangles in, lost the puck as he did, and Varava takes back over. Varava, watched by Hakala, played it to an area. Tecumseh steals. Here's Hakala trying to dangle through. Wolves back in numbers. Hakala dealing with a whole pack of Wolves behind the net, and Varava grabs the puck. Newman off to his left, trying to get to Gordon. That was partially interrupted by Tecumseh's stick. And Vane Tecumseh continuing to do good work to keep Watertown from moving up ice. Samard takes in the puck on the left wing. Cross corner dump, knocked down by Organ. He'll be the first one to it. He goes off the glass and all the way down. 35 seconds left, and the penalty to the Prowlers for too many men on the ice. Newman had to go through his stick. Favaro trying to move it ahead. They dig away and popped out. Gilbert for Samard. Up to Bencic. Wheels in to the trailer. Gilbert. Pass was out of his reach, and that's as good as a Prowler clear. Favaro gets to it. He clears it all the way down. That will take care of the penalty. Banner job by the Prowlers. PK on that one. After an initial flurry from Watertown, nothing given to the Wolves by the Prowlers Killers. Here's Lockney dropping it off for Graham. Bucell, a shot knocked down by Gonzalez. Sent back to the line, shot through, kicked out by Ricky Gonzalez. Bencic trying to catch up to that puck. He could not. McDonald back for it. Slams on the brakes. Ian McDonald looking ahead. Chased out by Marty. Here comes McDonald. Wires it in from the red line. Alex Ray pokes it around. They keep it moving for Marty. Now Parsons up towards James, out of his reach. And that is an icing against the Prowlers. Take another timeout here, 7:19 left to go in period one. And the Prowlers still trailing 1-0.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hi guys, we just stopped at Industrial Park Marathon to get some fuel and some snacks before the Prowlers game at McMorran.
Nice. Yeah, we just stopped by here at Industrial Park Marathon so I can get a Slurpee before the game.
Wait till after the game. If the Prowlers score 3 or more goals, Slurpees will be free.
Thanks for the info. I'm going to get my Slurpee after, but we'll see you at the Prowlers game.
See you at the game. Go Prowlers!
Get an edge in your game with Top Cheese Stick Wax, the official wax of the Port Huron Prowlers. Use code Prowlers15 for 15% off at topcheesehockeywax.com. Back here in Watertown, Prowlers still trailing it by a score of 1-0. The only goal so far belongs to Roger Powers. Brian Parsons had a broken stick, so he'll go back to the bench, and he gets a new one before this face-off. That gives his team another extra few seconds to rest. The veteran of now 300 FPHL games, Brian Parsons. He has the puck now, slid ahead to Alex Ray. Back to Parsons. Around to Lockhart. Tossed up. McDonald had it pulled from him by James, with an outside shot kicked out by Gonzalez. And the Wolves clear their end. Prowlers in the midst of a change. Favaro over to Price. Looking towards a home run pass, instead elects to skate it. Price weaving in, gets around Powers to the net, and his shot stopped by Gonzalez along the ice. Organ to Favaro. Anderson sends Price in, tried to dangle it, and that was knocked off his stick by Powers. Favaro flags it down in his own end. Wheels around the net, sends it ahead. Price trying to pick up that puck. Favaro could. Favaro gets it and shoots out of the glove of Gonzalez, and it's knocked up to Filipov. Cross-ice pass pushed out of the air, and then Mishkin and Favaro came together in a hard collision that also ended up involving Blake Anderson. Federley ahead to Lockney. Working on Filipov. Lockney slams on the brakes, cycles it down low towards Bucell, but Gordon stepped in the way. Gordon trying to get in. Fires the puck down and around. Bencic gets there first, stapled by Brockway. Federley lead pass for Bucell. Played off a skate. Brockway around to Federley. Tossed high and out, and that hit the ceiling here at Watertown Municipal Arena, so no penalty for delay of game. We'll just get a face-off deep in Prowler territory. Shots 14-5 in favor of Port Huron. Rico Gonzalez has seen nearly as many shots as he saw in his entire appearance last night in relief of Grant Linville. And now a disturbance and discussion going on. Long conversations being had between the teams, and now finally they'll line up. Malsagov and Lockhart are the ones who are chatting. That conversation ends as the puck drops. Here's Dustin Henning, the Wolves captain, floating it down deep. And now Brian Parsons is getting a penalty here. Parsons goes after Malsagov. And now Malsagov drops the mitts with Brian Parsons. In game 300, Brian Parsons is throwing the knucks. Parsons with an overhand right. Parsons still going with Malsagov, and he takes him down. That one heated up quick. Parsons was getting the original penalty as he gave Malsagov a cross-check in front. They both head to the penalty boxes and will get the calls. See, the referee's arm was already up in the air, and then the gloves came off. Both guys getting some good shots in. Referee stepped in, or the linesman stepped in just as soon as Malsagov's jersey started coming over his head. Luke James is heading over, or I thought he was heading over to serve a penalty for Parsons. There is 2 up on the board for Brian Parsons. I believe this will be a Wolves power play. Indeed it is. Matt Graham heading over to serve the 2 for Parsons. And the Wolves power play, which is 0 for 2 so far, will get its 3rd opportunity. Varava at the top. Gives it off to Gordon, left wing side. Whips it all the way across. One more pass in front. Huber got his pad on it, and it comes back to him so he can cover.
Watertown's number 46, Ahmed Malsagov, receives 5 minutes for fighting. Time of the penalties, 14 minutes, 41
Wolves work the puck around quickly. And the seam pass from Gordon all the way across. They tried one more in front to Hall. And Huber able to kick out that right flipper. Lockhart wheels around his net. He's able to send it all the way down. Gonzalez leaves it behind the cage. Anderson chases after Varava. He has the puck back from Mishkin. Varava drops it off for Mishkin. Filipov had the pass behind him, kicked off his skate. He was able to get it deep. Lockhart just floats it all the way down. Gonzalez out to play it. Almost right into Anderson dangerously, but Varava takes over control. Anderson heading off to the bench. Mishkin. Delayed penalty, looks like coming up against the Prowlers. Mishkin swung it out in front. Bucell touches up, and we'll get the next call. We'll take a timeout, find out what this is all about. Slashing the signal against Brett Lockhart. 5-on-3 for the Wolves when we come back.
Yeah, I don't know about this one, fellas.
Boys, we don't overcome adversity by backing down. But yeah, I don't know about this one.
That's reassuring.
We're so screwed.
All right, boys. Here's the game plan. LJ, you start with bananas.
Wait, why do I have to do the bananas?
Because you're the softest on the team.
I don't want the bananas.
This thing is gonna melt. We gotta hurry up.
I won't do it.
Okay, both of you. I will do the bananas and the whipped cream. Fets, please continue.
Who's paying for this anyway?
I am. I just bought my tickets for the Prowlers game this weekend, and the Milk House gave me 25% off my order.
Fets, why'd you buy the tickets? You're literally on the team.
For the discount.
So are you all ready to give it a try?
Oh, we're ready.
It's true. Get 25% off your entire order at the Milk House, October through April. Simply show your ticket stubs at checkout and enjoy your discounted treat.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
Call Fraser Building at 810-364-2766 or visit FraserBuilding.com for all of your construction needs from thought to finish. Together, we build a home. 5-on-3 here for the Watertown Wolves as Brett Lockhart is in the box. 2 minutes for slashing. As the puck is down, and Artu Heikkila wastes some time before sending it deep in the Wolves' end. 54 seconds of 5-on-3 time remaining for Watertown. Already up 1-0, a chance to make it 2. Mishkin drops it off for Gordon, whipped it across to nobody. Varava the first one there. Walks in, gives it down to Filipov. Salford back to Varava. Gordon, Varava, one-timer. That was blocked by Brockway. Varava has it again, trying to backdoor feed to Hall, and that didn't work. Banged up the boards and kept in by Mishkin. Varava walks in. Mishkin back to Varava, lets it go. Huber sprawling made the save. Varava across, Hall a shot, stopped by Huber. Filipov fanned on the rebound, and Favaro able to send it all the way down. That will take care of the Parsons penalty. Graham is the one who steps out of the box. He was serving the 2, and it's a 5-on-4 for the next 50 seconds. Gordon floats it over to Newman. Wrapped around, Bucell waiting for it, taps it back to his defense, and Oregon is able to fire it the length of the ice. 3 minutes left to go in period 1. Right wing side, pass cut off. James got it back to Favaro. Right back up to Luke James. He works in short-handed. Lost the handle with 3 Wolves back. Bencic chased by James. Bencic just able to get it back to a teammate. Here comes Gilbert flying right up the gut. Gilbert with a shot off a Prowler's stick, hit the glass. Swung up top, Samard bounced one wide. Lockhart out of the box, back to 5-on-5 as the Prowlers PK did some good work there, but they will not go back to work. As I thought for a moment that Favaro would be getting called for delay of game, but they say it was actually deflected, so no delay of game call coming against the Prowlers. Coming up on the first intermission right here on the PHP Network, we'll have our final episode of Behind the Eyes. Also take a look at some storylines from around the FPHL, the Outtown scores, and much more. It's all coming up right here on the PHP Network. That's right, the final episode Behind the Eyes is coming here for you. Throw the graphic back up. And once we play that episode, our Aiden Bricker will get to work combining all the episodes into one full feature-length movie, and that will be posted on the PHP Network YouTube channel shortly. Hopefully in the coming weeks here. So looking forward to playing that final episode. And again, the entire thing will be posted on the PHP Network YouTube channel at some point in the near future. Here's McDonald tossing the puck out. Settled down by Oregon. Played up to Heikkila. He bangs it deep. Minute 45 left to go in the Munger Physical Therapy first period. McDonald, washed by Bucell. Tried to go off to his left, was too far in front of Mishkin. Bucell slides it in deep. Powers looking over his shoulder, played it right up the wall. Bucell couldn't bounce it back to his defense as Mishkin cut it off. Filipov surrounded, drops it to Bencic, across to Mishkin. He couldn't bring it in clean. Prowlers got their stick in the passing lane to just disrupt it enough. Bucell wraps it all the way around the glass. And it didn't land quick enough for Lockney or a Wolf to get on it as Lockhart drops it back for Oregon. Under a minute to go in period 1. Wolves with a 1-0 lead. Prowlers have had most of the shots on goal in this first period, up 15-10 in that category. But an early one from Roger Powers, the only one on the board so far. Gordon tried to fire it across. Tecumseh stepped right up on that pass. Lockhart, headman feed to Anderson off his skate. Anderson pops out to DeCumbus, down low Price, looking up high. Lockhart over to Organ. Trying to send it down low, missed both of his teammates there. 13 seconds left to go in the period as Newman looks ahead. Got it up to Varava, 6 seconds left. Gilbert back towards Varava off his stick, and that will do it for the first period of play here in Watertown, with the Wolves leading the Prowlers by a score of 1-0. Shots on goal in that opening period favored the Prowlers 15-10. But Rico Gonzalez, as he's been, at least in regulation and overtime play, was perfect. It was perfect, 17 for 17 last night in relief, and now 15 for 15 so far this afternoon. Well, once again, coming up on the first intermission report right here on the PHP Network of the final episode of Behind the Eyes, the Prowlers training camp documentary. Also take a look at some storylines from around the FPHL, suspensions and the like, and we'll take a look at the out-of-town scores as well. It's all coming up right here on the PHP Network. Well, the next Prowlers Coaches Show is on at Wings Etc. this Wednesday. That is March 18th. We do not know who will be on it alongside myself and a coach, but it will be a lot of fun. Again, this upcoming Wednesday, 6:30 p.m., only at Wings Etc. So come out, get some discounted food, ask your Prowlers some questions, and of course you can win some prizes if you ask some questions. So come out now to Wings Etc. and shout to our Wings Etc. watch party, whoever's there right now tuning into our game here on this Sunday afternoon. Wings is the place to be for Prowlers hockey, and we'll see you there 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, March 18th. Prowlers trailing, heading into the locker room after 20 minutes of play. We'll send it back to Brady Beaton in our PHP Network studios. He is the final episode of Behind the Eyes for you when we come back on the PHP Network.
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers. We are one of the largest manufacturers of rear-view mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
Congratulations on your engagement again, man. You know, you should get some life insurance.
I never really thought about that. How would I do that?
We can help you with that at Zach Egan State Farm. Congratulations on getting married, man. Have you gotten a house?
We just got one, actually, yeah.
Well, if you want, we can help you out with life insurance at Zach Egan State Farm to cover your mortgage. Is Olin a year old now?
He is.
Wow. Have you guys got life insurance set up on him yet?
I haven't even thought about it yet.
Oh.
How would I go about that?
Well, we can help you with that at Zach Egan State Farm. High five?
Yeah, and we should have gotten life insurance years ago.
Hey, Ken. We've actually got a policy for people your age at Zach Egan State Farm. Give us a call.
Hey, Spike. My hip meds are costing a fortune. My humans are stressed, and they're pretending it's fine.
You're not alone, Max. My humans are cutting back on my flea and tick meds.
Ugh, tell me about it. My thyroid pills were draining the kibble fund until we found Global Pharmacy Plus.
Online stores? Are they actually cheaper?
Way cheaper. They save my humans 40% or more compared to those other big online sites.
My humans can finally afford on premium treats again!
What's more authentic than a Hungry Howie's Detroit-style pizza? Nothing. We're not playing around with the pizza of our birthplace. Thick crust, cheese to the edge, sauce on the top. Where it belongs. We've seen a lot of fakes out there. Not here. This is authentic Detroit-style pizza. Order yours now online for $12.99. We sauce the top and rep for the 313 everywhere. We do bold. Hungry? Howie's!
Hockey is like a business. One missed pass can derail the perfect plan. Have Taft Consulting help you get your whole team on the same page. They have the expertise to help you follow through on all your goals. Find out how they can help you today by emailing taftconsulting@outlook.com.
Explore the 140 miles of stunning shoreline along Lake Huron. That is Michigan's Thumb Coast. Discover charming coastal towns, serene beaches, and endless outdoor adventures. Stay at cozy hotels, paddle through pristine blue waters, and hit the fairways along breathtaking views. Plan your perfect getaway at bluewater.org.
Back here on the PHP Network, Prowlers trailing Watertown 1-0 after 20 minutes of play. No, it's a Sunday game. It's Sweater Sunday here in the PHP Network studios, but a very exciting first intermission as we have the final episode of Aiden Bricker's Behind the Eyes, where we've gone through training camp now. Let's see how that, well, you all remember how that first weekend in Danbury ended up. Let's take a look and see how it looked through Behind the Eyes.
Prowlers 1-0 this season. Hat tricks 0-1. This is the rematch. Prowlers owner Ken Andrews is in the building here in Danbury to watch his team on the ice live for the first time as the owner.
No one's getting frustrated with each other, themselves on the bench. We don't have time for that, all right? Everyone put one shit together at a time, be fucking rowdy on the bench, and we can't fucking pound these motherfuckers into their own ice. Let's go, 20 minutes.
Fans making noise, and we're underway in the first Saturday night game of the year. Lockhart, a shot, he scores! Brett Lockhart with the folks in the building makes it 1-0 Prowlers.
We got way more. Hey, yesterday we had playoff and energy and intensity. We play, like what Fed said, it's like overtime mentality. Not that period. We're not moving our feet. We're our bats with the puck. Have to, in the middle of the ice, you have to put lateral pressure. They have way too much fucking room through the middle of the ice. We're getting way too much respect. I don't know what happened. All right? Keep the shift short, too. Guys are getting stuck out there. Guys are taking marathon shifts. That is not how we play. All right? That is not how we play. We got way fucking more. The good news is we got one goal lead. Let's go, Mike. Let's go.
Let's go! Right away.
Millette gets in, his shot, he scores! Reggie Millette makes it 2-0 Port Huron. One-timer score! Artur Heikkila with his first in the Fed, and the Prowlers make it 3-0. Favaro, one-timer, he scores! First as a Prowler for Nick Favaro, and the power play goal makes it 4. And the first shutout of the 2025-26 FPHL season belongs to Reed Cooper. Your final tonight, Prowlers 4 and Hat Tricks 0.
I mean, we were the more prepared team. That's what it comes down to. We out-battled them. We out-competed, and just in every aspect of the game, and it showed out there at the score. So the penalty killers did an unreal job. Kept them to the outside for the most part, and it was great. It was great.
I think we made a couple adjustments that helped for sure. We had guys that were sprinting to pucks. They were good sticks in lanes, and then obviously goaltending fixes a lot of sins for sure. So still a lot to clean up. These are all divisional opponents. Those are 2 good games. We get some rest, we enjoy it. We're really excited for the home opener. We got another divisional opponent that we don't like coming into our rink.
And there was the final segment of Behind the Eyes. We will have the full uncut version on our YouTube, on the PHP network shortly once, guys got to get back from out east, and then we'll hopefully have it up sooner rather than later. But a great job by Aiden taking you through training camp, taking you through that first weekend out in Danbury, and it set the stage because I'll be waiting for that playoff rematch. I have a feeling I might have to wait a little longer than just a few weeks this year. So a great job from Aiden taking you through really what it was like getting this season started, and an excellent job from him. Hoping for an excellent second period. Prowlers have played well in the second period out in Watertown this week, and hoping more of that than the first. They're down 1-0. We'll take a break, come back. Will Wiggleman back live in New York. You're watching the PHP Network.
Welcome to the new era of Prowlers hockey. New owner, new store, new horn, fire, projectors on the ice. Yeah, this isn't your dad's McMorrin experience. This is Prowlers hockey. Get your tickets for the show now at phprowlers.com/tickets.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PHProwlers, and Twitter at PHProwlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
Here on Prowlers Hockey, it's presented by Proper 12 Irish Whiskey. Shot. Port Huron Prowlers. Back here in Watertown, Will Wiggleman with you as they're finishing up the Zamboniing job as the Prowlers trail the Watertown Wolves by a score of 1-0. And you just got to see the final episode of Behind the Eyes. Such an awesome job again by Aiden Bricker putting that together. And Behind the Eyes, something that I started a couple of years ago with the low budget that I had, and the equipment that I had available, and of course with all the other jobs that everyone in that front office was working at that time. And Aiden was able to take it this season and turn it into what I had envisioned in my head when I first started doing it. So shout out to Aiden Bricker for, again, making that everything that I wished it could be. So awesome episodes throughout this season. And again, we'll have the full thing posted on the PHP Network YouTube channel at some point. And check on the Prowlers social media channels, because we will certainly announce when that is up there on the YouTube channel. But it is 1-0 Wolves through 20 minutes of play. Let's take a look at what's going on around the FPHL. We start with our FPHL storylines, and we start with a suspension. Seth Bacon got a game suspension. He has also already served that suspension because the Sentinels played earlier this afternoon. But a scrum ensued at the end of the second period last night in the game between the Sentinels and the Scarecrows, and Bacon got involved in that scrum. The problem with that is that Bacon was stepping off the bench to get off the ice, and so technically he was on the bench and technically came off the bench to join the scrum. So that is a one-game suspension for Seth Bacon. It's not the only suspension from last night. Two more are under review. That would be Baton Rouge's Matt Bazarin and Watertown's Quinn Shevers, but neither of them have been given out their full suspension time, which makes me think that it may end up being multiple games for each of them. But of course, both of their teams playing this afternoon, so they just had to suspend them for this game and then figure it out from there. Scarecrows signed Vladislav Pavlov earlier today to a contract. Pavlov was cut on Friday by the Sentinels after leading the team in assists with 18 and points with 23 at the time. Topeka continued to add to its blue line depth. It does not look like that Pavlov played this afternoon in his old barn against his old team, but again, he was released by Indiana and signed by Topeka, and we'll see if he sticks with Topeka down the stretch. Sentinels did pick up a couple of players, Zach Ross and Cooper Olson. Ross on his third team already this season. He began the year with Watertown, and he last played a couple of weeks ago for the Blue Ridge Bobcats before his release. 8 points in 33 games for him. Olson, a collegiate signing out of ACHA Purdue Northwest, made his pro debut this afternoon. And we'll tell you in a moment how that went for him. Those are your thumb rust control FPHL storylines. Now we move on to the out-of-town scoreboard, and that is presented by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir. And we start with that game that has gone final, and the Scarecrows dominated to take 2 of 3 from the Sentinels, 6-1. The final score in Indiana. Jacob Gagnon had 2 goals and an assist. Trevor Graspy also 2 goals and an assist for Topeka, as they dominated to get back into third place in the Empire Division. They're playing in the third period right now down in South Carolina. The PD Ice Cats have a 5-3 lead on the Columbus River Dragons. It was 3-3 at one point, but Alexander Lakov and Dennis Zaitchek have the most recent goals for the Ice Cats. Lobsters all over the Thunderbirds late in the second period in Athens. It is 6-2. So they're getting set to wrap up the middle frame. Jonathan Bartuccio Pereira has 4 assists. Jesse Lowell, 2 goals and a helper for the Lobsters. Kason Gallant, the former Lobster, with both goals for the Birds. Moccasins running away from the Baton Rouge Zydeco right now. Second period in Baton Rouge. It's 4-0. Austin Pick has a pair of goals leading the way for the Mocs. Of course, here it's 1-0 Watertown. Out-of-town scoreboard presented by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir. Use code Prowlers for 15% off at Love After Hours. See the Prowlers hitting the ice out of their locker room. Wolves hitting the ice as well. Take a look at our Gunther Graphics game stats. Prowlers outshot Watertown 15-10 in that opening period. Even though Watertown had 4-man advantages in that frame, neither team able to convert on the power play. as we get set for period number 2. Bailey Huber getting set in the goal crease down to our right. He stopped 9 of 10. Rico Gonzalez in the goal crease to our left. 15 saves on 15 Prowler shots. Start the Hungry Howie's second period, 5-on-5. Although Brian Parsons having a chat with Darian Benchich. Doesn't look like it lasts too long. Now they're telling Brian Parsons he has to go back into the penalty box. I believe that's because he had to serve the full 7 minutes because he picked up an extra 2 after that fight. So Parsons will start this second period in the box. Ben Brockway steps out to replace him. At least to start, shouldn't be too long before BP16 is released from the bin. Puck is down, we're underway in period number 2. As Luke James comes back to retrieve the puck, sent it over to Lockhart. Now to Ray. Alex Ray crosses the blue line, gets in with a shot, swallowed up by Rico Gonzalez. Now an early face-off down in Gonzalez's end after the first save of period 2. Ray and Mishkin on the face-off. Ray won it towards the boards, but Dustin Henning stepped up to it. His pass went off a stick into Prowler ice. Favaro tried to wheel. He had Filipov all over him. Mishkin played it back down the boards. Favaro slides it out to James. Has Favaro joining the rush. James slid it through to Favaro on the backhand, and a save made by Gonzalez. Tipped along by Filipov, but from his own side of center. Oh, icing called against the Watertown Wolves. Looking for a pregame meal, Zip Sauce Burger is located in the Industrial Park Marathon. Zip Sauce, the official burger of the Port Huron Prowlers. Face off here to Gonzalez's left. Between Blake Anderson and FM Michigan, Anderson won it back clean. Price looking from the corner towards Anderson, poked off his stick as Filipov came back to make the play. The Wolves bounce it all the way down again, and another icing here against Watertown. This is a line for the Wolves that's used to a lot of ice time. Michigan and Filipov have been top players all year for the Wolves, and Darian Benchich, who has been the top guy on the second line for Watertown until that Stephen Klink trade a couple of weeks ago. As Klink went to Topeka, now Benchich has to slide in with the other 2 top guns. That makes for a very top-heavy offense. As here's DeCumbis, handing off for Price, makes a move, and he scores! Bobby Price undressed Rico Gonzalez, and he ties it early in period 2. #20th of the year for Price. Good job on the forecheck by Anderson. Nice pass by DeCumbis. Price, a little head fake to the backhand. Able to slide it home. And that play made by the strong forecheck of Blake Anderson. As the Prowlers tie things right up, and now they go back to work. Lockney cycling it down towards Bucell. Wolf went down to the ice. Brockway grabs the puck and he dumps it back in. Behind his net, it's Gordon. Over to the near side corner. Rink wide feed, Newman couldn't bring it in clean. Favaro tried to jump up on him. Brockway spinning away from pressure. Bounced it off the boards, but Hall takes over. Bouncing puck, looks like that caught Bucell up high. I think it kicked off of Brockway's leg and caught Bucell around the mouth area. Bucell heading back to the Prowler bench as Brockway wraps it deep. Powers chased by Blake Anderson. Chipped off the boards, gloved down by Lockhart. Down to DeCumbis. DeCumbis, inside out move, tried to push it towards the middle. Gilbert went down to the ice. Price handed off for Anderson, but Powers was able to slide it ahead to Fadiev. Tim Morgan drops it off for Lockhart. Slams on the brakes. Blake Anderson floats it across. Morgan couldn't bring in the pass cleanly, and Inlow got it down deep. Inlow, part of the return in that aforementioned Stephen Klink trade. Anderson able to chip it by his man. Here comes Blake Anderson. Wheeling in, spins back, and he drew a penalty. Anderson still with it, lets it go, and a glove save by Gonzalez. He hangs on, and the Prowlers will get the power play out there. And now Brian Parsons is able to leave the penalty box as Fadiev returns to the sin bin. Take another look. Anderson throws on the brakes here, and Fadiev just got the stick around. Anderson and DeCumbis picked up the assist on the goal by Price. Lucas Lockney has his unit out there. He's drawing with Newman. Prowlers with a chance to take their first lead of the afternoon. Samard moved it up the boards, didn't get much on it. Second opportunity, knocked down by Oregon, sent it towards the net. And Graham got a touch on it, but just poked it wide. Lockney turns the corner, had it poked off his stick. Here's Lockhart walking in. Oregon straight away, changes the angle on the half wall. Now it's Graham. Back to Oregon. Couldn't bring that pass cleanly. Newman attacks Oregon. He gets it back from Graham. Up at the top, it's Federley. Over to Lockhart. Looking, giving it over. Lockney, sharp angle try. Stopped by Gonzalez. And the puck hits the ceiling out of play. 45 seconds gone in the penalty to Fadiev. And the Prowlers will switch up the power play unit. Jamie Bucell back out there, after he looked like he took the puck to the face during his last shift. Bucell and Ryder on this face-off. Gordon and Anderson have to be told where to set up. Anderson tried to poke it back to the blue line, couldn't do it. But Bucell grabs the puck as a couple Wolves overskated it. Prowlers set up. Here's Price. Favaro, wrist shot, missed wide. Anderson up to Favaro. Now Price takes a look and shoots along the ice. Kick save Gonzalez. Favaro able to knock down that clear. Prowlers have to regroup at center. And then Anderson had it poked off his stick by Hunter Hall. Hall, a guy who has played in the ECHL this year. Spent a few weeks with Worcester. Former Prowler AJ Schlepp currently with the Worcester Railers at last check. Moved up the near side wall. Brad Ryder able to pitchfork it out. And Favaro chases back after it. 17 seconds remaining in this Prowlers power play. The long lead pass towards DeCumbis evaded him. And that is an icing against Port Huron with 11 seconds left on their man advantage. Face-off will be all the way down in Huber's end. Michigan and James on the face-off. Samard lined up right at the top of the circle behind Michigan. James won the face-off back. Favaro wheels around the net. Got it ahead to DeCumbis. Has Marty with him. DeCumbis waits for help. Down to Marty. Trying to spin away from Samard. Bounce it up high. Fadiev right out of the box. The first one on that puck. Fadiev slams on the brakes. Here's Michigan with a shot stopped by Huber. Rebound there. And Huber able to find it. And then a Prowler was ridden down to the crease. That was Brockway. He was tied up with Fadiev. Prowler's trying to get after Fadiev. And everybody separated. Brockway with some words for Fadiev, and now they're sending Luke James to the penalty box. Bit of an undisciplined penalty there as James had Fadiev's helmet on his stick, and he just slid it away from Vladimir Fadiev. Prowlers back shorthanded when we come back on the PHP Network. Back here in Watertown, Wolves going back to the man advantage as Luke James was sent to the penalty box way after the scrum ended. James had Vladimir Fadiev's helmet on his stick. James gets 2 for unsportsmanlike conduct. As the power play starts for Watertown. You saw there right at the end of that clip that James was picking up the helmet onto his stick. That wasn't where the penalty came. It was when James dropped it and slid it away from Fadiev all the way in the neutral zone after everybody was broken up. Again, a bit of an undisciplined penalty there from Luke James. Put the Prowlers back down a man for the 5th time in this game. Alex Ray able to dump the puck all the way down. Gonzalez plays it away from Anderson. Filipov turns and starts up ice. Gordon tried to whip it across, hit Bobby Price. Filipov has to play it away from Anderson. Moved over to the left wing side. Here comes Filipov. Wheeling in. Had his stick lifted by Price, and Bobby Price sends it all the way down. Samard, fresh off the bench, plays it over to an area. No Wolves there, only Ben Brockway. He fires a cross-corner dump in that Gonzalez snags. He drops it for Samard. Hakala in there to cause some pressure. And DeCumbis streaks down the boards. Couldn't get to that puck, though. Here comes in low with Gilbert and Newman. Newman over to Gilbert, and he was handcuffed by that pass. Gilbert has it again. Down low to Newman, has a man in front, tried to send it there, it was blocked by Parsons. Wrapped around to Inlow. Back to the far side, Gilbert with 15 to go on the penalty to James. Gilbert, Benchich, wrist shot blocked by DeCumbis, trying to get back to it. Inlow gets on it. Inlow lost the handle, Favaro skates up with it. James jumping out of the box to join the rush. He gets the pass. James whips it across towards Favaro. Favaro back on in the near side corner. Spins off a check. James flying in, couldn't center. Favaro takes it to the net and hit the post. Ray trying to slide it behind the net. James in front looking for Ray. Loose puck Bucell, and it was poked away just before Jamie Bucell could get to it. Oregon keeps it in at the line. Federley settles it down and bangs it back deep. Bucell was spun down to the ice. Benchich trying to grab that puck off the wall. Gilbert curling away from Bucell. Headman feed on the stick of Inlow. Wolves trying to get a change in as Inlow just softly tossed it on net. Huber leaves it for his captain, Austin Federley. A broken stick in the Prowlers' end. Oregon claps it ahead. Lockney skates into the loose puck. Lockney with a shot, stopped by Gonzalez. Carried all the way around. Prowlers hustling off the bench to defend Michigan. Michigan cuts in and tried to get Filipov, who couldn't touch that puck. Wristed down deep and sticked up out of play by Bailey Huber. Plenty of up and down action there at the end of that power play for the Wolves.
Also join some of your favorite Wolves players on Wednesday evenings at Buffalo Wild Wings or at Shorty's Place. 3 great eateries to choose from.
Face off to Huber's right. Michigan with Anderson. Dropped and moved back to the point. McDonald back down and around. Here's Michigan in the corner. Up high to Powers. He walks and shoots, deflected off the glass. Ryder taken in by Brockway. Lockhart puts Michigan into the boards. Brockway does the same. Puck pops out. Here's Powers looking and shooting. Gobbled up by Bailey Huber. Roger Powers got a grade A look, trying to get his second of this game. Bailey Huber stood his ground. That puck popped all the way out. A couple of players missed it. And Powers walked right in, and Huber aggressively at the top of his crease, able to make the save. Prowlers trying to escape their zone. Federley bumps it over to the far side. Bucell off the boards, ahead to Graham. Tried to keep it moving, bouncing puck. Couldn't be controlled at first by Lockney. Now he turns it on net, and it's punched away by Gonzalez. Wolves start up. Alsagov ran over Federley as he moved the puck. Both of them back to their skates. Newman spun it into the offensive zone. Hall couldn't dangle cleanly around a couple of Prowlers. Malsagov centered right on Graham's stick. And here comes Bucell. He couldn't get around Varava. Puck still in the zone. Varava to the net, surrounded by white sweaters. Graham looking for an option. He peels back. His team in the midst of a change. Matt Graham floats it all the way ahead and off of Hakela's stick and deep. Hakela around towards Marty. Ray pinching down low to try and grab it. He does. Ray to the net. Save Gonzalez. Favaro at the top. Back down low towards Alex Ray. Gordon able to move it ahead. Out comes Watertown. It's in low, chipping it along. Oregon right back up the strong side. Ray played it over to an area. Henning grabs it at the red line, and Marty came together with Dustin Henning, who was a tough guy to knock off his feet. Hakela. Marty tried to move it towards Ray. Ray has it. Curl and drag. Couldn't get the shot off. It's stuck in a Wolves skate. And finally, Gonzalez gathers the puck in and hangs on past the midway point of the hockey game. Tied up at 1 in Watertown on Sunday Fun Day here on the PHP Network.
Hockey is like a business. One missed pass can derail the perfect plan. Have Taft Consulting help you get your whole team on the same page. They have the expertise to help you follow through on all your goals. Find out how they can help you today by emailing taftconsulting@outlook.com.
Explore 140 miles of stunning shoreline along Lake Huron in Michigan's Thumb Coast. Begin your adventure on a blanket of golden sand at one of our serene beaches. Connect with the historic atmosphere of our region's nautical influence and reconnect with friends under a blanket of stars. Plan your perfect getaway at bluewater.org.
Back here in Watertown, past the midway point of the game, Prowlers and Wolves tied up at 1 goal apiece. Port Huron in game 3 of a 4-game road stretch Here started in Binghamton on Friday, then Watertown Saturday and Sunday, and then they'll be in Indiana on Thursday for a makeup game. And after all that, Prowlers will be looking forward to be back home on Friday and Saturday against the Topeka Scarecrows, where instead of hearing "Let's Go Wolves," they'll be hearing "Scratch 'em up, Prowlers." Lake Anderson and FM Michigan in on this face-off. Port Huron 1-1 on the road trip so far with a shootout win. As Favaro's shot blocked, comes all the way over to Anderson. Favaro's lost his skate blade, I believe. As he's heading back to the Prowler bench, Gonzalez clamps his glove on top of the puck to freeze it. Favaro just couldn't get an edge, and now the equipment staff on the Prowler bench, Ken Falke, the equipment manager, along with Prowler assistant coach Alex Johnson, who's back in the suit again tonight, missing his third straight game. This is the first time since Alex Johnson has been a Port Huron Prowler that he has missed games due to injury. He was the only Prowler to play all 56 games each of the last 2 seasons. And the year before that, he played 55, and I believe the one was either rest at the end of the season or a suspension. But either way, Alex Johnson seeing himself on the shelf for injury for the first time and since he was a Danbury Titan. That was all the way back in the 2016-17 season. Austin Federley looking for a headman feed. Instead he goes back to Brockway. He fires it up ahead to Graham. Tipped in. Simard and Bucell get there together. Simard forces up the far boards. Michigan for Newman. Up to Dustin Henning. He gets in with a shot kicked out by Huber. And the rebound cleared away. Blake Anderson wheeling up the left wing side. Anderson flying in on Gilbert. Works it up top. Parsons, D to D. Lockhart, a drive, change direction, and Gonzalez able to make the save. Hall chips it in off the glass. Anderson gets to it first. High flip out, trying to send Price on his way. Hit Price in the back, and the Wolves come back to take control. Gilbert led it on towards Hall. He completely missed it. And that is an icing against Watertown. Take the stress out of vacation planning and get access to exclusive deals with Magical Vacation Planner by Ralph Lake. Email him at r.lake@magicalvacationplanner.com. MVP, the official road trip partner of the Port Huron Prowlers. Prowlers back to work in the offensive zone. R2 Hakela looking to bounce it up high. Marty works up top, turns the corner and shoots, and that one off of Gonzalez's mask. Oregon, the defenseman, in deep. To Ray. Up high it goes. Federley floats it through. It's blocked. Federley over to Oregon. Hakela tried to tip it along, couldn't do it. Federley plays it between his legs to Bucell. Tapped over to Hakela, left wing side. Hakela to the net. Couldn't get a good shot away. Puck loose right in front of Gonzalez. He's trying to cover. Still available. Pops out. Lockhart pinches in. Goes all the way around the net. Lockhart still with it. Up high to Brockway. Delayed penalty coming up against the Wolves as the Prowler was knocked down in front. All the way around to the far side, but taken in by the Wolves. And we get a holding penalty coming up against Ian McDonald. And the Prowlers go to their 4th power play of this game. They're 0 for 3. Might be able to see the penalty here at the end of this replay. See, that puck was loose. And there's McDonald holding on to R2 Hakela right in front. And as Hakela got dragged down a little bit after that clip, that was when the referee put his arm up. Puck clapped past Federley and all the way down. Referees tonight, Steve Cook and Eric Holvig. The linesmen Scott Schmidt and Derek Carlins. Dustin Henning didn't get much on that clearing attempt. Graham able to come back in onside. Slid it up the boards to Organ. Got through him. He's able to one-hand it over to Federley. Stick handling at the blue line. Able to keep it in the zone. Organ down to Graham. Pulled it out in front and couldn't get a shot away. Puck cleared by Bencic. Federley ahead to Anderson. Now on to Hakala. R2 Hakala. Stop up move with a shot. And Gonzalez makes the save. Matthew Gordon able to saucer it out. And Favaro takes over. 55 seconds left in the Prowler power play. Anderson over to Price. Sends it down the boards. Gordon gets it there. Goes for another clear. Price able to cut it off. Anderson. Price. Favaro looking for the one-timer. Instead, Price goes to Anderson. Favaro walking up top. Now it's Price that wants the one-timer. Favaro shoots. Change direction. Favaro again. Loads, fakes, walks over to Price. His wrister blocked. Price gets it again. 20 seconds left in the power play. Comes all the way out. Favaro steps in, make a pass down low, and they score! Off of Blake Anderson and in. There was a delayed penalty coming as well. Prowlers take the lead. I believe they'll go right back to the power play here. The puck came all the way out to Favaro. Tried to pass it down to Anderson. Ended up going off of Blake Anderson's foot and in. No kicking motion. And again, I think the Prowlers will go right back to the man advantage here, because there was a delayed penalty while the Prowlers were on the power play. Another goal for Blake Anderson this weekend, his second of the series. Now they're trying to get a Wolf back to the penalty box. Looks like it's McDonald. Oh no, pardon me, it's Varava heading that direction. So Gleb Varava to the box. And the Prowlers will start another man advantage. They're now 1 for 4. This will be number 5. Under 5 minutes left to go in period 2. Port Huron has just taken its first lead of the afternoon. Samard dumps it down to Prowler ice to begin. Lockhart couldn't slide it ahead. And here's Bencic short-handed, poked away from him by Organ. Bucell and Favaro get the assists on the goal by Blake Anderson. Prowler's other unit sets up. Graham for Federley. Right on Federley. Tried to send it down to Graham. Got it there. Graham's pass all the way across, eluded Lockney. Lockney ran into Lockhart. Now a 2-on-1 for the Wolves short-handed. Quick shot sticked up out of play by Bailey Huber off the stick of Darian Bencic. We'll take a timeout. 4:05 left to go in the second. Prowlers with plenty of power play time to go when we come back here on the PHP Network.
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers. We are one of the largest manufacturers of rear-view mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
What's more authentic than a Hungry Howie's Detroit-style pizza? Nothing. We're not playing around with the pizza of our birthplace. Thick crust, cheese to the edge, sauce on the top. Where it belongs. We've seen a lot of fakes out there. Not here. This is authentic Detroit-style pizza. Order yours now online for $12.99. We sauce the top and rep for the 313 everywhere. We do bold. Hungry?
Howie's! Minute 13 left on this Prowlers power play after they just took a 2-1 lead on the strength of Blake Anderson's power play goal. They'll face a draw all the way back in their own end. Prowlers trying to take both here in Watertown after dropping the first game of the weekend in Binghamton 4-0. They won last night 5-4 in a shootout to secure their spot in the 2026 Commissioners Cup playoffs. These Wolves were eliminated earlier this afternoon with the Topeka Scarecrows win in Indiana. In case you missed our pregame open, there's been a team in the FPHL in Watertown nearly every one of the now 16 seasons of the league's history. I believe only one or two they were missing a team from Watertown. And every team in Watertown that played made the playoffs, as Favaro's blast goes off the back glass and sits down for Anderson. This will be the first time a team from Watertown misses the playoffs in FPHL history, which again, they've been in Watertown since year number 1. Anderson, or Price, lets it go, save, rebound. Hakala couldn't get to go. Price looks, Favaro one-timer, and sprawling across was Gonzalez to make the save. Gordon pitchforks it on his backhand and it settles down for Favaro in the neutral zone. This unit that scored on the last man advantage, getting some good pressure. 10 seconds left on the power play as Favaro just puts it on net, and then Gonzalez able to snag the second opportunity from Luke James. Tick under 3 to go in period number 2. It's a 2-1 Prowler lead. And Varava set to come out of the penalty box in 7 seconds.
This afternoon's Chick-fil-A chocolate contest. You can begin making your way towards our Wolves Den right now.
Rico Gonzalez has been sharp this afternoon. 26 saves for him on 28 Prowler shots so far. Port Huron has dominated in the shots on goal department. Off the drop, Mishkin wheels around his net. It will saucer it ahead towards Filipov. And that will do it for that power play. So Port Huron now 1 for 5 on the man advantage. They have a 2-1 lead. As Dylan Marty moves up, 3 Wolves back as Marty slips through Henning. Wrapped it around to James. Tried to move it up to the point. Federley wasn't there. Federley able to slide it over to Lockhart. Ray on the pass for James. Dumped right in, hit the linesman. Samard. Now Mishkin. Right wing side, Benchich cuts to the middle. He's surrounded, sent it to the outside to Filipov. Back to Benchich. Right on goal from the corner, and Huber has that one frozen. Well, coming up on the second intermission report right here on the PHP Network, we will send it back to Brady Beaton in our PHP Network studios for highlights and analysis of this game so far. Get this afternoon's edition of Keeley's Corner and the out-of-town scores. It's all coming up on the PHP Network. Puck stuck up in the linesman's skates, finally dug free. Mishkin gets it down low. Or Gilbert, pardon me, got it down low. Newman chased by Parsons. And as Parsons touches up, an interference penalty called against Ben Brockway. And the Prowlers will go back shorthanded for the 6th time. So the Wolves, who are 0 for 5 on the power play, will get yet another opportunity and scored a big goal last night on the man advantage from Filipov with under 5 minutes to go. Made it a 1-goal game. Filipov eventually tied it in the dying seconds. Prowler's PKs look good on a couple of these Wolves power plays. And they get a quick clear. If the Wolves don't score, this power play will leak into period 3. Michigan walks across the blue line, couldn't stick handle past the Prowlers. Varava now with it. Got a pass down low that Oregon got in front of. Suicide scrum in the corner. Gordon comes in to be the third for the Wolves. Puck underneath Filipov. He gets back to his skates. Kicked up. Filipov now with it. Down to Gordon. Tapped right up high. Varava across to Michigan. Back to Varava. Michigan once more. One-timer. That was blocked. I think it was Favaro who got in the lane. Favaro able to get in front of that pass. And a feed up to Decumbis. Short-handed. Decumbis trying to wheel towards the net. Cut off by Varava. Took the puck back for the Wolves. 43 seconds left to go in period 2. Filipov for Inlow. Tried to go towards the net. That didn't work. Poked out of the zone by Bucell. He hustles after it. Bucell with a step. Short-handed. And he dropped the shoulder. Not taken down. May have just lost an edge because there was no penalty called. Inlow bounces it in. Gets back to it. Wrapped around to the near side. Lockhart gets to it. Moved it up the boards. Hinkala able to clear. 12 seconds left in this period. Gonzalez with a quick up to Gilbert. Gilbert drags through into the offensive zone. Long range shot juggled and held by Bailey Huber. And we get the horn to end the Hungry Howie's second period. Yep. Oh, sorry about that, folks. Little technical difficulties there, but now we're all good. You didn't miss anything. Just one more face-off and a blocked shot. And now we get to the second intermission. Prowlers take a 2-1 lead. 8 seconds will be left on Ben Brockway's penalty when we come back. Once again, coming up in the second intermission here on the PHP Network, we'll send it back to our studios with Brady Beaton. And we'll also have this edition of Keeley's Corner, the out-of-town scores, and much more. It's all coming up right here on the PHP Network. Well, secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game. That will be this Friday, March the 20th, when the Prowlers take on the Topeka Scarecrows. Puck drop is scheduled for 7:05 p.m. on Scout Night from McMorran Place. You can get your tickets at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or by scanning the QR code on your screen now. It's online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or scan that QR code on your screen now to experience the show at McMorran Place. Again, that is Scout Night. If you want to get your Scout troop involved in the game, then be sure to reach out to us via the contact form on our website. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, Brady Beaton will break things down from our PHP Network studios. It's next.
Come on, guys, hop in.
We're not getting in that thing. That thing's gross.
Yeah, I wore my nice pants today. This thing could use a detail.
Well, I don't know. Do you know anybody who could detail a boat? I think that guy could.
Hi, I'm Logan from Ballard's Detail. I can detail your boat. From oxidized and faded to smooth and glossy, our professional compounding and waxing process will get your boat looking new again. Contact us today at 810-956-8318. Visit us on Facebook at Ballard's Detail LLC.
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers. We are one of the largest manufacturers of rearview mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
Hello, I'm home.
There he is.
What is happening?
Relax. We won. They brought back the snack wrap. Spicy or ranch?
Spicy.
Yeah, go. Yeah. Just one little bite.
Can you stop?
Oh, sorry.
Gather your crew. Snack wrap is back.
This isn't working. LJ, pass me those flyers. No look behind the back pass. It's a whole play. I'll say, come on. Gap up. Close the gap. Close the gap. What are we saying? This isn't working. We need a shift change. Let's bring in the professionals.
Head over to the Birchwood Mall for your shopping and entertainment needs. Hop on the carousel, shoot some hoops, or visit some of their great stores such as Gerlach's Woodworks, where they specialize in handcrafted wooden decorations. Add to your fan cave a Prowlers themed creation. Upgrade your bathroom at Luxury Bath Mobility Remodelers. They can fully customize your bath or shower to fit your needs, and they also do flooring. For the sports fan in your life, pick up a unique gift from Pro Edge Sports. Jam-packed with all kinds of memorabilia. There's something for everyone. And it's not a trip to the mall without Auntie Anne's pretzels. Grab a freshly made full-size cup of pretzel bites and wash it down with some frozen lemonade. At the Birchwood Mall, you can find this and more. Visit them on 24th Ave in Fort Gratiot.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hi guys, we just stopped at Industrial Park Marathon to get some fuel and some snacks before the Prowlers game at McMorran.
Nice. Yeah, we just stopped by here at Industrial Park Marathon so I can get a Slurpee before the game.
Wait till after the game. If the Prowlers score 3 or more goals, Slurpees will be free.
Thanks for the info. I'm going to get my Slurpee after, but we'll see you at the Prowlers game.
See you at the game. Go Prowlers!
Yeah, I don't know about this one, fellas.
Boys, we don't overcome adversity by backing down. But yeah, I don't know about this one.
That's reassuring.
We're so screwed.
All right, boys. Here's a game plan. LJ, you start with bananas. B-Way.
Wait, why do I have to do the bananas?
Because you're the softest on the team.
I don't want the bananas.
This thing is going to melt. We got to hurry up.
I won't do it.
Okay, both of you. I will do the bananas and the whipped cream. Fets, please continue.
Who's paying for this anyway?
I am. I just bought my tickets for the Prowlers game this weekend, and the Milk House gave me 25% off my order.
Fets, why'd you buy the tickets? You're literally on the team.
For the discount.
So are you all ready to give it a try?
Oh, we're ready.
It's true. Get 25% off your entire order at the Milk House, October through April. Simply show your ticket stubs at checkout and enjoy your discounted treat.
Back here on the PHP Network, second intermission report. Your Prowlers up 2-1. Yesterday, they did already clinch the playoffs, as you see behind me, officially in the Commissioner Cup playoffs. A big second period propelled the Prowlers to a lead. Third period wasn't great. They ended up winning it in a shootout. Right now, they lead it 2-1 over the Watertown Wolves. Let's take a look at how we got to this point in this game as we go back and take a look at the highlights as Prowlers had some chances early. In fact, they very much outshot a few of the Wolves. Bobby Price was able to get on the board to tie Watertown, who actually scored first in this game after a Roger Powers goal just a minute and 43 in. That was a quick answer in the second period. Bobby Price tied it up, and then, the physicality continued. There were a few melees between the two sides. Ben Brockway, he's always going to find himself in the middle of it, and that's one of the reasons he has an A on his chest. As the Wolves trying to find the answer, but Bailey Huber in net second night in a row has been a pretty strong netminder, and nice to get Reed Cooper off his feet a little bit. Always got to have the 1-2 punch as the Prowlers took the lead. Blake Anderson got the goal. Last I checked, they had not given any assist for Anderson, which very clearly that was not unassisted. So I have a feeling that will be changed later on in the game or after the game as the fights continued on in this one. Brian Parsons, game number 300, he wanted to drop the gloves in this one. That is man jerseyed, and Brian Parsons, you don't stick around this long without having a little bit of sandpaper to you and having guys knowing you're very much willing to stand up for your teammates. And I think he exemplifies everything that Chris Paulin wants to have with his team. So this was actually going back to the first period. The Wolves got on the board. Again, this was the Powers goal early on. Kind of caught everyone sleeping, and that put the Prowlers in a hole. They were able to get back into this one, but the quick goal from Powers made it 1-0, and then the Prowlers scoring the last two goals. So after 40 minutes of play, it is Prowlers 2, Watertown 1, hoping for a stronger third period, and I'm sure that's the conversation in the locker room right now of, hey guys, we had the lead. They didn't give up a late goal in that second period like they did a night ago. Carry that momentum into the third period today. So one thing I want to talk about now that it's time for Keeley's Corner presented by Full Metal Mel is, you take a look at the schedule right now, and it's a little brutal for the Port Huron Prowlers. A 3-3 right now. And this one was scheduled from the beginning of the year, but the makeup game against Indiana has been put on Thursday, and you think, well, okay, you still get 3 days off, but when you really look at the logistics of it, and maybe those that aren't familiar with the league, I know some of the fans that have been around since day one, they understand the travel arrangements and everything and how it can be grueling. It's not like the NHL where, hey, you get done with the game, you get on a plane, and 2 hours later you're back at home, and it's a first-class plane where, you have all the room in the world. Not to say the bus is a poor bus. In fact, it's the best one the Prowlers have ever had, helping outgrow this franchise. But they'll get done today. Let's just say the game, Prowlers win in regulation. They get done at 7:30. Hopefully that means by 8:30, they're on the road back to Port Huron. They'll get home Monday morning, let's just call it by the break of dawn, somewhere in that time. By the time some early risers are getting up for work, they'll probably be pulling into McMorran for the little bit of rest. So, okay, you probably give them Monday off, and now you have your Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's going to be probably a lighter skate for the two. One, you're at the end of the season. You don't want to wear guys down more than they need to. And two, you're going to have to turn around because in all likelihood, that game Thursday and the fact that it's in Indiana is actually going to put the Prowlers in a weird spot Friday where they might be more prone to bust legs than the team coming all the way from Kansas because they're going to go to Indiana. And I haven't seen the itinerary, but if I had to guess and knowing how things work in this league, probably go the day of. It's close enough. So travel all day Thursday morning, play the game against Indiana, hopefully collect 3 points, make their push to officially clinch the 2 seed. Game will end about 9:30. Turn around and again get back in Port Huron. Let's call it about 4 or 5 in the morning that next day. So the travel in this for this team right now is going to be a challenge, and I know this team will look forward to it. They'll see it as adversity and a way to grow this team because come playoff time, you're going to have a very similar situation with travel. So if the Prowlers are going to play a team, well, it looks like in almost all likelihood it's either Blue Ridge or it is Topeka. Those are not close places. So what will likely happen, the precedent that has been set, again, not officially reporting anything, just me through my years in the league, understanding how this works, is especially Topeka and possibly Blue Ridge as well, probably play on Wednesday. So the guys will have to go out midweek because it's going to be very hard for either of those. Kansas and Topeka, impossible. You're not doing a home and home unless all of a sudden there's a high-speed rail between Port Huron and Topeka. Blue Ridge maybe, but still probably not likely. So you're looking at a Wednesday game, play Wednesday night, and then you turn around and come back to Port Huron for what would be a Friday-Saturday matchup. Again, in all likelihood, all my speculation. So if something's wrong, don't get mad at anyone else. You can yell at me. But that's probably what the Prowlers are going to have to deal with. And this weekend and going into next, I should say, a very good test for the Prowlers to get acclimated to what hopefully is a long playoff run. Prowlers lead it 2-1 over Watertown. We'll take a break, go back out to New York. Will Wiggleman with the third period when we come back right here on the PHP Network.
Welcome to the new era of Prowlers hockey. New owner, new store, new horn, fire, projectors on the ice. Yeah, this isn't your dad's McMorrin experience. This is Prowlers hockey. Get your tickets for the show now at phprowlers.com/tickets.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
Here on Prowlers Hockey is presented by Proper 12 Mental shot. Port Huron Prowlers. Welcome back to Watertown. Prowlers with a 2-1 lead through 40 minutes of play. So we get set for the third period. And the final matchup between the Prowlers and Wolves in Watertown this season. The final trip for Port Huron to Watertown Municipal Ice Arena until next season, because the Wolves will officially not make the Commissioner's Cup playoffs following the Topeka Scarecrows win in Indiana earlier this afternoon. Let's take a look at what is coming next for the Prowlers, as they will not get to be away from the Wolves for too long. After this one, and Brady mentioned this, the long and tough week coming up for the Prowlers from a travel perspective. First, this will not take a lot of travel. Just down the street from McMorrin, we'll have the coaches show at Wings Etc. 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday. So that will be an easy trip for the Prowlers. The difficult part is that they have to go play the Indiana Sentinels in what is a rescheduled game from one that was postponed all the way back in January. 6:30 p.m. in Indiana, and then they'll have to come back for 7:05 p.m. games against a Topeka Scarecrows squad that needs points. They're battling with the Blue Ridge Bobcats for third place in the Empire Division. So that's a very hungry group in Topeka, and one that has struggled as of late, so they need the points that much more. And then these same Watertown Wolves will invade McMorrin Place the final weekend of the month, 7:05 and 6:05 p.m. puck drops for those two games. And we have specialty jerseys coming up each of those weekends. On Friday is Scout Night, and then Saturday, taking a shot at Breast Cancer Night. That is the 21st against the Scarecrows. And we have those jerseys in, and we were very excited to support Taking a Shot at Breast Cancer once again. That is a partnership that has been going on with Port Huron Hockey long before the Prowlers even existed, between that foundation and Port Huron Hockey. So come out for that one. And then we have Paw Patrol jerseys on the 28th for Pucks and Pups Night featuring Paw Patrol. Those will be special. And then on the 27th, the night before, will be Faith and Family Night. So lots of exciting specialty nights coming up. You think we could sell out McMorrin? We came very close last Saturday with what we believe to be a Prowlers record, 2,200 fans. 2,251 was the official number that they announced. And again, we do believe that to be a Prowlers record, but there were still some seats available. We want to make it standing room only, especially when we get to the playoffs in less than a month. So get your tickets now at phprowlers.com/tickets. Let's take a look at what's going on around the FPHL with our out-of-town scoreboard presented by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir. We're looking at a few final scores here. And of course, we start with the one earlier this afternoon in Indiana. Jacob Gagnon and Trevor Graspy had 2 goals and an assist apiece as the Scarecrows beat up on the Sentinels. Again, that win for Topeka officially eliminated Watertown from playoff contention and put the Scarecrows back in 3rd place in the Empire Division. The PD Ice Cats doubled up the Columbus River Dragons this afternoon down in South Carolina. Dennis Zajic had 2 goals and 2 assists. Vadim Frolov, 3 helpers. Alexander Legkov, a goal and an assist. Good afternoon for former Danbury hat tricks as the Ice Cats pick up some big points and continue to march towards clinching their playoff spot. Twin City Thunderbirds are the team that are chasing the Ice Cats right now. They're down to the Athens Rock Lobsters in a barn burner, 7-5 right now. Kason Gallant, the former Rock Lobster, has a hat trick. Dominic Dumas, who was also acquired in the trade that sent Gus Ford to Athens, he has a goal for the Thunderbirds. Meanwhile, Ford has one of his own. John Kaljian and Jesse Lowell with 2 goals apiece. 7-5 Lobsters. Moccasins holding a tight 4-3 lead over the Baton Rouge Zydeco. Monroe scored the first 4 goals of the game, and the Zydeco the last 3. Can Baton Rouge complete the comeback at home in the Battle of the Bayou? Under 5 minutes left to go in that one. Outtown scoreboard presented by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir. Use code Prowlers for 15% off at Love After Hours. Take a quick look at the Gunther Graphics game stats before we drop the puck on period number 3. Prowlers heavily outshooting the Wolves 31-18. Port Huron with a power play goal. Wolves 0 for 6 on the man advantage, or 0 for 5 right now. They have 8 seconds left on their 6th power play of the game. It is the CJ's 3rd period, and it is underway here in Watertown. Austin Federley hustles back for the puck. Ben Brockway's out of the box, and the Prowlers PK comes up big again as FM Michigan's sharp angle try was stopped by Bailey Huber before the puck was pitchforked all the way down. Prowlers in the midst of a change here. They did not get flagged for 2 men on the ice as Federley was able to jump in time before Tim Organ played the puck. Here is Organ. Ahead to Anderson. Now Price walking in with a shot. He scores! Bobby Price sends Rico Gonzalez's water bottle behind the net. His 2nd of the game as the Prowlers up 2. Absolutely took care of the bottle on top of the net, going high to the blocker side of Gonzalez. Just after the Prowlers killed off the penalty and 37 seconds into the 3rd. Port Huron now up by 2. 21st of the year for Price. Oregon rips the puck out, goes all the way down, no icing. Samard moved it ahead to Newman. He dumps it down deep. Anderson and Oregon pick up the assists on the goal by Price. Anderson with his 2nd helper. He also has a goal. Make it a 3-point afternoon for Blake Anderson after 2 last night. Here comes Favaro, right wing side. Try to toss it towards the net, knocked back. in low. Taken in by Luke James. Ryder with a shot off of Favoro's stick and up out of play. Blake Anderson is making a strong case for today's Gunther Graphics Player of the Game. We will hear from the Gunther Graphics Player of the Game as well as Associate Head Coach Chris Paulin during the postgame show. And this we're scheduled to here on the PHP Network. So be sure you stick around for the postgame report. And that is just in case some of you folks are new here. I know we have a lot of people tuning in, maybe because their teams are not playing this afternoon, or maybe because their teams have already wrapped up their games. We want to welcome all of you in to the PHP Network. And if you are just joining us, Roger Powers scored the first goal of this game just over 2 minutes in. Prowlers responded with 2 in the second period, and then Bobby Price, 37 seconds into the third, has the only goal of the final frame of regulation. And it's a 3-1 Prowler lead. Brian Parsons, who's playing in game number 300 of his FPHL career, gets the pass off from Luke James. Here's Anderson looking, shooting, and Gonzalez able to get a piece. Blake Anderson played to the middle. James had it poked away by McDonald. Mossagov played to the middle as he was ridden off by Anderson. Here's a 2-on-0. James catches back up to it, just couldn't get there in time as Gonzalez poked it away. James and Lockhart were behind everybody. Federley sends it back down and around. It's all the way to Brockway. Right on goal. Kick save by Gonzalez. Federley over to Brockway. Walks, gives a pass up to Anderson. Price drops it off. Anderson, a shot rising off the short side. Tried to go high glove on Gonzalez. Anderson. Fake the drop off, looking in front. Anderson turning, played it over to an area on the near side. Federley dumps the puck right back in, gloved and dropped by Gonzalez. The home run pass missed Benchich. Huber able to direct it over to the corner. Favaro looks ahead. Floats it all the way towards Bucell. Touches it in, trying to get back to it. Gonzalez plays it away. Gordon gave it over. And the long lead pass is just an icing against Gleb Varava and the Watertown Wolves. I think he was looking for Matt Gilbert, who was posted up at the Prowler blue line. Gonna face off all the way down in Gonzalez's end. Take another look at that 2-on-0, or pardon me, the chance for Blake Anderson. Tried to go high glove on Gonzalez. Anderson again already with a 3-point afternoon. Looking for his second goal. Parsons sent a shot through, kicked off a skate. James couldn't dangle towards the net. Ray over to Parsons. Lets it go, deflected off the crossbar. Marty got a touch on it as he was battling with a wolf, and it caught iron. James back in, and he took a hard check from Gordon. And then Ray went after Matthew Gordon. Ray trying to challenge Gordon, who wants no part of it. Gonzalez to the bench, delayed penalty coming up against Watertown. Pass comes across to Filipov, poked off his stick. And Anderson grabs it, interference called against Alex Ray. He went over to stand up for his teammate Luke James. There have been some undisciplined, silly penalties for the Prowlers in this game. I don't think that's one that the coaching staff will complain about. Ray sits for 2. And the Wolves, their 7th man advantage of the game. Off the draw for Rava. Looking. And he feeds it down low. Hall around behind the net. Gordon up top. Varava. D to D to Mishkin. Filipov in the middle. Slid it down to Hall. Filipov tried to play it between his legs. Kick save, Huber. Hall. Down to Gordon. Walking with a rising shot, knocked down by Huber. Anderson trying to get that puck free. And from a knee, he's able to clear it all the way down. Headman feed, knocked back. Hakala gives it to Bucell, shorthanded. Nice move and a blocker save. Rebound, another blocker save by Gonzalez as Hakala wound up at that puck as it was dropping back to the ice. Gilbert sidesteps a couple Prowlers. Gets into the offensive zone. Couldn't bring the puck with him that time. And Hakala clears. Gonzalez this time leaves it behind the net for Bencic. Bencic forced back. Just played it up the near side to Newman. He gets it deep. Favaro clears it all the way down. 6 minutes gone in period 3. 25 seconds left on Alex Ray's penalty. Prowlers with a 2-goal advantage. Bencic got it up to Inlow. Newman had it taken from him by Price, who played it right across the middle. Gilbert tied up with Organ. James trying to get to it. Organ couldn't poke it out. James has it, and fresh out of the box is Ray as James got it all the way down. Gonzalez plays it away from Alex Ray. James was knocked down in front of the Prowler bench. They want a penalty they won't get. Meanwhile, Ray's playing all by himself in the offensive zone because the Prowlers are still finishing up that change. Ryder chips it out. Malsagov played it over to an area for McDonald to skate into. He dumps it in, took a hip check from Bucell. Malsagov down low, Ryder in front, and Huber the save on Fadiev. We'll take a timeout. 12:52 left in the CJ's third period. Things heating up just a bit here in Watertown.
Hi, what can I get for you?
I'd like some McMorrin fries, please.
All right, that's going to be $4. Okay.
She shoots, she scores with the new Prowlers debit card.
Don't you have somewhere to be? The game's on.
Get your Prowlers debit card only at Flagship Community Federal Credit Union, located on Lapeer Road in Port Huron. Flagship Federal Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Back here in Watertown, 3-1 Prowlers. Just over 7 minutes gone in the CJ's third period. Bobby Price's second of the game, the only goal of this final frame of regulation so far. Face-off will be to Bailey Huber's left after he made a save ahead of that TV timeout. Off the drop, comes to Anderson, and now Price. Price wheeling in, all the way around the net, trying to sweep it in front for Anderson. That was cut off. Lockhart down deep. Anderson played it off the back of the net. He's tied up with Varava. Tacoma's tried to help out. Anderson couldn't get it in front. Mishkin left the puck behind. Gordon, Mishkin off the wall. Filipov just pokes it ahead. Parsons got there ahead of Bencic. Filipov couldn't dangle in. Lockhart just dropped it back for Parsons. So the Prowlers try and reset things from their own end. They couldn't get the pass to Price. Deflected shot. Ends up in the corner. Price delays his team making a change. Price goes back to Favaro. D to D. Oregon up to Lockney. Spins away from Hall. Now to Favaro. Prowlers start to move up. Hakela tips it in deep. Dustin Henning trying to spin away from Bucell. Sent up the boards right into Favaro. Lets it go. Punched out. Rebound there. Gonzalez got down. Puck still loose. Bucell gets on it. Sent up the boards. And Oregon over to Favaro. Back to Oregon straight away. Trying to send it back down low. And the Wolves take over, but Bucell stole it. Tried to wrap it. Gonzalez able to get down in time. Lockney gave it over to Favaro, getting back in the offensive zone. Tried a centering feed for Hakela off a Wolf stick and out of play. And the Prowlers hard on the forecheck, giving themselves some extra opportunities. Alex Ray has his line out there for this offensive zone draw. Now, Brockway having a conversation with Inlow. McDonald steps in to break that discussion up. Brockway and Inlow chatting, and Inlow seems non-committal to dropping the gloves with Ben Brockway. Brockway will retreat to his defensive position. That's what I assume the conversation was about. Although, as we've learned this season on the PHP network, I'm not very good at reading lips. Wolves have iced the puck here as they wrapped it all the way around and down to the Prowlers' end. And Port Huron will get a quick change. Well, the Prowlers are on the ice, so grab a glass of Proper 12 Irish whiskey. Proper 12, the official shot of the Port Huron Prowlers. Please drink responsibly. No better time of year than near St. Patrick's Day to talk about Proper 12. I'm sure we had a lot of Proper 12 sold over the weekend in Port Huron during pub crawl. Here's Price just putting it on net. Save Gonzalez. Another shot just missed wide off the stick of Anderson. Anderson gets back to it. Spinning off a check, had DeCumbus right there to help. Anderson poked it along, and now it's Inlow. Chipped off the boards and out. Oregon for Favaro. Nick Favaro has skating room, and he'll take it. Anderson looking, walking, shooting. He scores! Gonzalez just missed it, and Blake Anderson has his second of the afternoon. That was just a long-range wrist shot. And again, Gonzalez just simply missed it with the glove. Prowlers will take them any way they can come. It's 4-1 Port Huron on Blake Anderson's 14th goal of the year. Prowlers still looking for more here as Ray turns it down the wall, comes all the way around to James. James take it in. Kicked it back to Ray, tried to pop it out to Marty, that didn't work. Benchich chips it ahead towards Filipov, stymied by Brockway. Filipov, Benchich, threw it towards the net, round to the far side. James dances through Varava and dangles around Filipov. Here comes Luke James, working in. James swept it in front, and Ray was tied up by Varava. Gordon to Benchich. He's all by himself, sends it in on Huber, who stops it, plays it off to Lockhart. Hakela into the offensive zone. Hakela dangles towards the net. Gonzalez played away with the goal stick. Lockhart gets the puck down deep. Samard and Hakela leaning on each other as they get to the loose puck. Back to the line. Parsons walks, lets it go, kick save by Gonzalez. Barava gave it over. Gilbert to the net, and that's an easy save for Bailey Huber. Blake Anderson has the latest goal for the Prowlers. They're up 4-1 on this Sunday afternoon in upstate New York.
Discover everything banking should be with Advia Credit Union, like earning real financial advantages. You can earn up to $1,000 with your new account. Plus, save an average of nearly $4,000 in interest when refinancing. Get started with a low-rate credit card balance transfer. Enjoy easy access to your money anytime, anywhere. Make the switch today at adviacu.org/real people. Advia Credit Union. Real advantages for real people.
Back here in Watertown, 8:40 left to go in period number 3. Prowlers with a 4-1 lead. Blake Anderson has the latest goal. He should have 2 goals and 2 assists, although he was not credited with an assist on Bobby Price's third period goal, despite passing it right to Price. But by my count, a 4-point afternoon for number 94. But Anderson 2-2. Price has a couple of goals. Nick Favaro, pair of assists right now. Those guys stepping up big for Port Huron in this game. As Lucas Lockney trying to wrestle the puck from Hunter Hall. Newman circles back behind his net. Fed up to Hall. Now Samard gets into the offensive zone. Lockhart for Bucell. Kept it moving, got to Parsons. Back to Lockhart. Indirect feed, finds Bucell. Hits the red line, hits the Wolves blue, and he sends the puck down low. Marty throws his body into Ryder, who was able to sidestep him at the last moment. Or at least most of that hit. Brockway looks ahead. Federley all the way up to Marty, who tips it in deep. James heading after it along with Samard. McDonald spun away from a check from Marty. And now Ryder, cross ice. Mulsigov taken in hard by Brockway. Federley for Ray. Spins back. And he goes back to Austin Federley. Prowlers in the midst of a change as Federley clangs it off the glass and out. McDonald had trouble with it. Here's James on his backhand. Followed off by Gonzalez with the glove. James with a tap, and he scores on the third chance. Luke James makes it 5 for Port Huron. Rolls in back-to-back games for Luke James as he just stuck with it. Gonzalez made the save on the first one and the second one. And then it was the third swipe that slid home for Luke James' 7th goal of the season. He had the game-opening goal last night as well as the shootout winner. Prowlers starting to run away with this one. And now we get a goalie change for Port Huron. An opportunity for Jamison Bork, I believe. A timeout has been called, but it does look like the Prowlers are giving Jamison Bork an opportunity here, up 5-1 with 7 minutes left to go in the third. Bork, last God, has only been in one other game so far this season. He came in relief on November the 29th against the Topeka Scarecrows when the flu bug was going around the Prowlers locker room. Reed Cooper was unable to continue after the first period of that game, so Bork kind of got thrown into the fire that night. This time, much better situation for him. And the rookie out of Plymouth State University will get some more action. One of the beloved guys in that Prowler dressing room. And, you know, typically a goalie might be upset in a game like this getting pulled, but Bailey Huber all smiles over there on the Prowler bench. And this Prowler's goalie tandem could not be a closer trio. Huber, Bork, and Reed Cooper. And both Huber and Cooper have certainly will be happy to see Bork between the pipes here, and we'll see what he can do this afternoon. As the Prowlers move back up, it's Price having the puck knocked off his stick. Got it back to Anderson, looking in front towards the Cummins, who's all alone on the back post. Bencic came back to intercept. Mishkin got it to Varava. Varava trying to get the puck back. Sent it all the way across. Good stick by Lockhart. Floated on goal. Save by Bork. And stick taps from the Prowler bench for Jamison Bork's first save of the afternoon. Varava missed the handoff. Mishkin comes back for it. Gave it to the middle where only Blake Anderson was. He tosses it out. Under 6 to play in regulation. Newman pulls away from Lockney. He'll slide it up to Hall. Austin Federley for Brockway. Up to Bucell, back to Federley. Federley all the way up towards Marty. Missed him, and that is an icing call against the Prowlers. CJ's Bar and Grill keeps the kitchen open until 1 a.m. and gives you a discount for wearing Prowlers gear. On a home game day, it's the perfect place for all of your post-game celebrations. Prowlers fans back home look like they'll be able to celebrate on this post-game. Team up 5-1 with 5.5 left to go. Luke James slid it ahead to Ray. Marty swiped it in. And covering it with the glove was Ricardo Gonzalez, who, despite the score on the board, had himself a pretty strong game, especially in the first couple periods. Things have broken open a bit here in the third. Prowlers have 3 in this third period. Looks like Dylan Marty took himself off the ice here. R2 Hakel will take his spot on this line with James and Ray. And Marty getting attention from Prowlers trainer Bridget Smith. I don't believe we've seen Matt Graham here in the third period. He is on the Prowler bench as that puck was sticked up out of play. I feel like it's been a long time since I've said Matt Graham's name. Jamie Bucell and Lucas Lockney were his line mates to start this game. And Hakela stays out there as those two step over the boards. Lockhart chips it ahead. Samard blocked it there. And in low, dumps the puck deep. Bork leaves it behind the net for Brian Parsons. Up the glass. Puck knocked out. Hakela hands off for Lockney. Saw a couple of Wolves coming. He decided to curl back. Lockhart for Parsons. Lead pass tipped in by Blake Anderson. 2-on-1. Lockney towards Bucell, and they just couldn't get that pass to work. That was a sliding Wolf who was able to interrupt it just enough. Bucell gets it back down low, and the Prowlers finish up a change. McDonald up the boards. And Price comes back for the puck. Federley backpedaling, looking for an option. Sent it up the wall, intercepted, and Bencic's shot was off a stick and off the glass. Powers. Federley stepped up to swipe at the puck. Couldn't get it out. Blake Anderson over to Brockway. Indirect feed ahead. Powers turns it the other way. Now Federley around the net. High flip. Bounce past Powers. Here's Marty streaking in. Sent it out in front and kicked off of McDonald's skate and just wide as Gonzalez went sprawling. Newman for Hall. Tried to dangle in, and Marty caught him with the shoulder. Favaro trying to skate to that puck as Hall settled it down. Newman trying to go back over to Hall, and an offside called against the Wolves. Take one more time out, 3:05 left to go in regulation. Prowlers look to be well on their way to 3 points.
Discover 1195 Gastropub in Marysville. Burgers, pizzas, apps, and pub favorites like filet mignon and grilled salmon. Open Monday to Friday, 4 to 9 p.m., weekends 12 to 9 p.m. Join us for happy hour, Monday to Thursday. Enjoy half-off bottles of wine every Wednesday, and don't miss Thirsty Thursday with $4 draft beers. Great food, cold drinks, good times. That's 1195 Gastro Pub.
It's time to wake up on the sunrise side of Michigan. Wake up to beautiful beaches. Wake up to vibrant urban landscapes. Wake up to unique eats. Wake up to charming coastal towns. Wake up to cozy entertainment. Wake up to Michigan's Thumb Coast. Plan your perfect wake-up call using bluewater.org.
We invite you to tune into our next broadcast. That will be Thursday, March 19th, when the Prowlers make their final trip to Hamilton Community Ice Arena in Columbus, Indiana, take on the Sentinels. Puck drop is scheduled for 6:30 p.m. and the pregame show starts about 6:15. It's all right here on the PHP Network. Well, in case you missed it, Jamison Bork, and as they know him in the locker room, J-Mo, in between the pipes now for the Port Huron Prowlers. Came in with about 7 minutes left to go. Prowlers getting him some action. This is his second appearance in a game this season. He was signed back in November to be the third string goaltender, and he accepted that role, and he's been one of the best people in the locker room, and the players all love him. And they are certainly excited for him to get this opportunity as they work in the offensive zone here. Two guys on this line have 2 goals tonight, Bobby Price and Blake Anderson. Centering feed for Anderson, knocked away by Varava. Cumbus turning into the offensive zone. Gets it on the backhand, looking for Hakala, who now has it behind the net. Artu Hakala trying to shake free of Ryder. Cumbus try to turn around pass towards Lockney. Lands in the near side corner. Lockney, Lockhart drags it through his legs. Lockhart down behind the net. Hakala went for a spill. Hakala has it, trying to sweep it out in front, and Gonzalez was able to get a stick on it. Under 2 to go, Brian Parsons or Bucell, and now Lockhart. Ahead towards Hakala. That got through. And no icing here as Gonzalez stops it behind his net. Simard works ahead. Had it poked off his stick. Luke James slid it across, but right to Simard. Back over towards Inlow. Trying to cycle it down the boards. Federley able to take it and toss it out. And it was knocked down with a high stick belonging to the Wolves, so we'll get a whistle and a face-off here. With 1:23 left to go, Prowlers look like they're going to pick up points 87, 88, and 89. Get their 31st win of the season. Meanwhile, the Watertown Wolves going to lose their 5th straight game and 10 of their last 11. Brockway steps up on Bencic. Filipov working in, he's surrounded. Blake Anderson wheels up. Anderson dangles in. Anderson, a shot off the side of the net. Samard played it off of Bobby Price. Final minute of play in the period and in regulation. Lockhart at the line. Got help from Price to keep it in, but only for a moment. They tried to sweep it up to Filipov, missed him, and icing called with 45 seconds left to go. Both of the guys on the Prowlers with 2 goals have already gotten a hat trick this season, Bobby Price and Blake Anderson. We'll break it all down for you coming up on the PHP Network post-game report. Brady Beaton will get you the highlights and analysis back in our studios in Michigan. Get the final game stats and then locker room reaction as well from here in Watertown. All that coming up on the post-game show. Quick shot off the face-off. Goes behind the net. Arttu Heikkila. Pinned by Samard. Lockney trying to pull it off the wall. Mishkin out for Heikkila. Hands it off for Ray. And his backhand, Heikkila on goal. Save, rebound, they score again. Alex Ray puts the cherry on top. Good hard work by the Prowlers. They signed up for the full 60. And Alex Ray picks up his 2nd goal of the season. .21 seconds left to go. Prowlers score 6 goals for just the 2nd time this year. Only other time is when they had 7 back on December the 20th against the Blue Ridge Bobcats at home. Price wheeling in with one last chance. Price with 2 in the game. Anderson scores! Hat trick Blake Anderson. And the extra point is good for the Prowlers. And now Gonzalez trying to go after Ben Brockway. Gonzalez is hot right now, being restrained by the linesman. A single hat has been tossed on the ice here in Watertown over by the Prowler bench as they finally calm down Rico Gonzalez. Frustrating night for the Wolves netminder. Blake Anderson with his 2nd hat trick of the season. He has some of the folks here from Peavine, Alberta, watching him live. So awesome for him to get that 3rd goal. And the Wolves have decided to call timeout just to extend this game a little bit longer. The Prowlers get 2 in the final minute. And 2nd time this season, the Prowlers have scored 7. All smiles over there on the Port Huron bench, but there you see the Gonzalez seeing red. As Chris Paulin having a chat with the referee. You get a good look from Aiden Vision over there on the Prowler bench. One last face-off, 4 seconds left. That should do it. Let's hope. Although plenty of barking going on. Brockway and Varava having a chat. Puck is down. Hall trying to get after Bucell. Horn sounds. And now gloves are dropped. There are 2 blue gloves on the ice. A full brawl to end this one. Brockway has to be pried apart from Malsagov, I believe. McDonald is paired up with a Prowler over on the boards. That was Parsons and Malsagov who were tied up. And Parsons exits game 300 with a few more words for the Watertown bench. Now more as Varava and James are swinging each other around. Referees have to get in between them.
Could we have all of our security personnel
Gonzalez is out by the Wolves' blue line. See Chris Paulin with some final exiting words for the Wolves. Everybody heading back to their own sides of the red line. And the Prowlers celebrate with Jamison Bork, who gets the final 7 minutes of action this afternoon. There he is. Prowlers happy for Bork and Bailey Huber, who will get the win this afternoon, stepping off the bench to celebrate with one of his goalie partners. And still more chatting going on by the benches. Chris Paulin is hot now. Crowds are gathered. Men in stripes in between. Chris Paulin pointing down the hallway at somebody, maybe a Wolves assistant coach. Rico Gonzalez has exited to the Watertown locker room. And right now the concern is to make sure the Prowlers can get down there safely to their dressing room.
We would like to remind our fans over by the players' benches to please do not get into any type of altercation with any of the players.
Well, we want to remind you that we do have a post-game show coming up here on the PHP Network. Brady Beaton will have highlights and analysis from our studios back in Michigan, get the final game stats, and locker room reaction. I'll try and get some information on what's going on in front of our eyes right now. But you'll get those interviews live. Well, not live, but you'll see them for the first time if you stick around for the post-game show. And now fans barking at the Prowler bench. This continues to get ugly. They are telling the fans here in the arena to leave the area by the player benches. Alex Johnson, the Prowlers assistant coach, is walking down to the left. That's an alternate route to the Prowlers locker room, and Johnson will be led off over there. Prowlers telling the Wolves fans to enjoy the rest of their Sunday as the Wolves salute their fans. Prowlers trying to find a way off the ice. They'll actually go down to the other door down in the corner, although security has shut that door on them, and now the Prowlers are stuck. Somebody let these boys get to their locker room. They have a bus to catch. See Dustin Henning, former Prowlers captain, giving hugs to a couple of his opponents. A guy with a lot of respect around the FPHL, Dustin Henning. Currently the FPHL active games leader. This is game number 516 in the FPHL for him. Leaves him just 13 behind Joe Pace for the all-time record. Henning would have to come back for another season, though, to break that record. As the Prowlers get their prayer circle going. And the rest of the team finally able to get to a door to head off the ice. Not the way you'd want this game to end. Not the way anybody wanted this game to end. But it looks like we finally have peace. And one final prayer for your Sunday afternoon. As I guess we're now into Sunday evening. It's past 7 o'clock Eastern time. And we will now send it back to Brady Beaton in our PHP Network studios. Once again, he'll have the highlights and analysis from this game, the final game stats, and then we'll bring you back here to Watertown for locker room reaction All of that and more coming up on the PHP Network. Don't go anywhere.
Hey guys, what's going on? Hi guys, we just stopped at Industrial Park Marathon to get some fuel and some snacks before the Prowlers game at McMorran.
Nice. Yeah, we just stopped by here at Industrial Park Marathon so I can get a Slurpee before the game.
Wait till after the game. If the Prowlers score 3 or more goals, Slurpees will be free.
Thanks for the info. I'm going to get my Slurpee after, but we'll see you at the Prowlers game.
See you at the game. Go Prowlers!
Are you sick of asking somebody else to live your own life? I'm Josh with the Franchise Guys. If you're ready to quit your job or build your empire, I'll help you trim down my 800 franchise brand partnerships down to a few that fit you, fit your goals, and fit your budget. With options from senior care to airplane detailing, there's an opportunity for you. Owning a franchise can have up to a 90% success rate. That's better than job security. With the systems and support of a franchise, you won't be making all those costly mistakes as you would if you started your own business from scratch. And with options as low as $6,000 to get your own job-replacing business, there's no better option for you than to book a free call with me and my team. Visit GoFranchiseGuys.com. Stop dreaming about a better life and go live it.
Hey, Spike, my hip meds are costing a fortune. My humans are stressed, and they're pretending it's fine.
You're not alone, Max. My humans are cutting back on my flea and tick meds.
Ugh, tell me about it. My thyroid pills were draining the kibble fund until we found Global Pharmacy Plus.
Online stores? Are they actually cheaper?
Way cheaper. They save my humans 40% or more compared to those other big online sites.
My humans can finally afford on premium treats again!
Yeah, I don't know about this one, fellas.
Boys, we don't overcome adversity by backing down. But yeah, I don't know about this one.
That's reassuring.
We're so screwed.
All right, boys. Here's the game plan. LJ, you start with bananas.
Wait, why do I have to do the bananas?
Because you're the softest on the team.
I don't want the bananas.
This thing is gonna melt. We gotta hurry up.
I won't do it.
Okay, both of you. I will do the bananas and the whipped cream. Fets, please continue.
Who's paying for this anyway?
I am. I just bought my tickets for the Prowlers game this weekend, and the Milk House gave me 25% off my order.
Fets, why'd you buy the tickets? You're literally on the team.
For the discount.
So are you all ready to give it a try?
Oh, we're ready.
It's true. Get 25% off your entire order at the Milk House, October through April. Simply show your ticket stubs at checkout and enjoy your discounted treat.
Come party where the Prowlers party at Hamlin Pub. With 10 locations including locally in St. Clair, Richmond, and Chesterfield. Hamlin Pub is the best place for your hangout. Watch the Prowlers or your other favorite sports teams on their mini screens throughout the pub and get your weekend going with live entertainment every Friday and Saturday. Come party like the Prowlers at Hamlin Pub.
Back here on the PHP Network postgame show, a come-from-behind win for the Prowlers, technically a big 7-1 win for Port Huron. They ran away with it. Much better third period than yesterday. Let's go all the way back to the first. Let's take a look at some of the highlights in this one. There were a lot to go through, especially at the end of the game, as the Watertown Wolves did strike first, but the physicality started in the first. Here was the opening goal, Roger Powers, and you thought, hey, this could be a tough one for Port Huron. Quick goal, end of a 3-3, and you're, all right, Prowlers have a little bit of work to do, and they more than climbed the mountain. They conquered it, tore it down, and turned it into rubble. The Prowlers, again, had a few opportunities. Rico Gonzalez unable to stop the first goal in this one. That was just moments into the second period for Port Huron, as the Prowlers got on the board with the early Bobby Price goal. Blake Anderson with the assist. Get used to those two names. A scrum that started, well, this was going to be very mild compared to what we'd see the rest of the year, or the rest of the game, I should say. The rest of the year, for being honest. Never know what to expect when these teams, when this team protects each other the way these two do. But Bailey Huber was very strong in net all day long. Gave up the early goal, then absolutely locked in as the Prowlers took the lead on a Blake Anderson goal on the power play. Anderson gets the Prowlers up 2-1 as he got it at the point, was able to just walk it up without too much of a contest, and that's way too much time as the pass down low to Anderson to make it 2-1. Prowlers up 3-1 after this one, finding the back of the net. Bobby Price again. That one even strength, just 37 seconds into the third period, and then the dam would seemingly burst as the Prowlers just kept pouring it on. That one went right by Gonzalez. He thought he had it, and you saw him squeeze the glove, turn the head, and went, oh man, thought I had it. Scramble on this one, not much you can do but control the rebound, and yeah, the Prowlers were all over it. That one, Luke James able to tap it in, again, wide open net, and he was excited. He knew that was the final nail in the coffin, but the Prowlers wouldn't be done after that. They would take a timeout, and Jameson Bork would get some action in this one as the Prowlers took a timeout and flipped goalies. And now here is the final sequence. This is the final 20-some seconds as Alexander Ray made it 6-1. Prowlers are celebrating. You're going, oh, hey, great job, guys. Cherry on top. Again, 3-3s are tough. You're able to go in there and dominate a game. You didn't go the way you wanted on Friday. You stumbled to the finish line Saturday, and you're putting a big old exclamation mark on this one. And I'm sitting back here in the studios going, all right, sweet, 6-1. Great job. Let's run this one out. Little did I know this would it would be just 15 seconds later. Prowler's going to play to the final whistle. Watertown got it, brought it into the zone, and then, oopsie, Blake Anderson said, I would like a hat trick, please. And as the buzzer sounds, gets the drop pass, buries it. Don't think any Wolves fans were throwing their hats out on the ice, but the 49th shot of the game, another goal. And I don't know what was said here, but something incensed Rico Gonzalez. And there was, you saw the video there. There was no physical contact, and that carried over until after the game, where not a lot of punches thrown, but it was not a very happy affair between these two as it ended. Again, being back, states away, I don't know if anything was said. I don't know what caused this. Yesterday there was a lot of bad blood between the two, but knowing the temperament of a guy like Rico Gonzalez, something made him upset, and there was chirping the rest of the way. Hopefully the Prowlers were able, I should say, to get themselves back into the locker room and celebrate their 7-1 win over Watertown. A heck of an effort from Port Huron to cap out a 3-3. Again, they wrap up a 7-1 win. Take a break, come back, and later on here on the post-game show, we'll take a look at the final game stats, the out-of-town scoreboard, and then Will Wiggleman will have our Gunther Graphics Player of the Game and our talk with our associate head coach, Chris Pullen. All that and more when we come back on the PHP Network.
Hockey is like a business. One missed pass can derail the perfect plan. Have Taft Consulting help you get your whole team on the same page. They have the expertise to help you follow through on all your goals. Find out how they can help you today by emailing taftconsulting@outlook.com.
Hello, I'm home.
There he is.
What is happening?
Relax. We won. They brought back the snack wrap. Spicy or ranch?
Spicy.
Yeah, go. Yeah. Just one little bite.
Can you stop?
Oh, sorry.
Gather your crew. Snack Wrap is back.
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers. We are one of the largest manufacturers of rear-view mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
Is that him?
Look over there. It's Bob. Wow, just look at that hair.
Ever since he started getting his stuff from Global, the guy's unstoppable.
So that's what confidence can do?
That's just not fair.
Oh my goodness, it's Bob! Bob! Bob!
Give me the phone. I'm calling Global Pharmacy Plus for myself.
This isn't working. LJ, pass me those flyers. No look behind the back pass. It's a hope play. LJ, come on. Gap up. Close the gap. Close the gap. What are we saying? This isn't working. We need a shift change. Let's bring in the professionals.
What's more authentic than a Hungry Howie's Detroit-style pizza? Nothing. We're not playing around with the pizza of our birthplace. Thick crust, cheese to the edge, sauce on the top. Where it belongs. We've seen a lot of fakes out there. Not here. This is authentic Detroit-style pizza. Order yours now online for $12.99. We sauce the top and rep for the 313 everywhere. We do bold.
Hungry
Howie's!
Network post-game show. Prowlers find the end zone. 7-1, they beat Watertown out in New York to cap off a 3-3. Let's take a look at the game stats from this one, brought to you by Gunther Graphics. As the Prowlers, well, you'd expect in a 7-1 game, thoroughly dominated. I mean, more than doubling the shots on goal. Only one on the power play. But the thing that the Prowlers have done so well, especially this weekend, man, that penalty kill has been pretty strong. There have been a few 5-on-3s over the last handful of games. The PK has been excellent for the Prowlers. Another goose egg up for the Wolves in this one. And I want to put a little asterisk next to that, Pim, because I don't know if any will come from after the game with that post-game kerfuffle there. So that was our final game stats, brought to you by Gunther Graphics. Now let's take another look at our out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir. And actually a busy Sunday here in the FPHL. Topeka gets a little bit of revenge over Indiana, a 6-1 drubbing there. The River Dragons get doubled up by PD, the Ice Cats. are trying to roar down the stretch. A high-scoring Sunday as we move on. The Rock Lobsters, a 7-6 win over Twin City. A lot of action there. Don't know if it's tired legs or what. Monroe is able to just get by the Zydeco in a battle of two teams from Louisiana. And, of course, your Prowlers with the 7-1 win over Watertown. That'll do it for me from the PHP Network studios. However, Will Wiggleman still was able to have a conversation with our associate head coach, Chris Paulin, our Gunther Graphics player of the game. We'll take a break. We'll go back out to New York right after this, right here on the PHP Network.
Welcome to the new era of Prowlers hockey. New owner, new store, new horn, fire, projectors on the ice. Yeah, this isn't your dad's McMorrin experience. This is Prowlers hockey. Get your tickets for the show now at phprowlers.com/tickets.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
On Prowlers Hockey is presented by Proper Technology. Initial shot for Huron Prowlers.
Will Wiggleman back to Watertown one final time. Prowlers dominate the Watertown Wolves, pulling away with a big third period for a final score of 7-1. Blake Anderson had a hat trick this afternoon, and I got a chance to chat with him. He's our Gunther Graphics player of the game. I'm here with tonight's Gunther Graphics player of the game, Blake Anderson. Hat trick, couple of helpers for you. Take us through that game.
Yeah, it was a good way to end the weekend for sure. I got to thank my line mates for, dishing me the puck all night, and yeah, it just worked out good.
And I know some of the folks are here from Peavine. That must have been nice to put together that performance for them.
Yeah, they kind of let me know late notice that they're coming to watch me this weekend. It's good to see them in the crowd, and good that I, put a little show on for them. But yeah, happy to see them.
Things got a little spicy there at the end. What was going on?
I mean, it's the Fed, so, and we're the Prowlers, so I mean, stuff's just always happening after the whistle here and there, and that's just our style, that's our identity. You know how it is.
Oh, yeah. That's Prowler hockey. Short week, and get to go back on the road in Indiana, and then get to see the home fans. You ready for it?
Yes, sir. 100%.
It's your Gunther Graphics player of the game, Blake Anderson. Gunther Graphics, your go-to guy for logos, websites, and branding. Thank you.
Thanks.
And that was Blake Anderson, your Gunther Graphics player of the game. Again, a hat trick for Anderson, a couple of helpers as well. And again, the family here from Alberta able to see it live. And a great game for Anderson. Caps off a good weekend for him here in Watertown. Had a goal and an assist last night. So make it a 7-point weekend for Blake Anderson. Well, Prowlers associate head coach Chris Paulin was unavailable related to that end-of-game kerfuffle. So instead, I got to chat with Prowlers assistant coach Alex Johnson. With Prowlers assistant coach Alex Johnson following the win over the Watertown Wolves on the Schultz Roofing coaches interview. And a big win for you guys and a good way to close out the weekend. Take us through that whole game.
Yeah, we started a little slow, but then we got hot there towards the end. We just executed really well in this game. We went over some stuff going into today in the offensive zone, and it worked out for us.
You guys were able to get Jamison Bork some time in between the pipes. Just talk about JMO and how he's been since he's come in and why you wanted to give him that opportunity.
Yeah, JMO's been awesome. He does so much behind the scenes that people don't see. It's great to get him that opportunity. All the boys were pumped he got in there. He faced 0 shots, though. I was hoping they were going to get one at least, but they couldn't get one in that last 5 minutes.
And what does it mean, like for the room, to see the guys, especially Huber, coming out of the net in a game like that? He's playing really well to let JMO go in.
The boys are all just fired up, and like we kind of rally around everybody in the room, so it was great to see them get that opportunity.
And what was going on at the end of the game?
I don't really know. The 7th goal got scored there, and then kind of it all broke loose there, and then Watertown called the timeout, so we kind of knew that they were going to do some shenanigans there, but then we couldn't get out of the locker room because a couple guys were waiting behind the curtain here, so a lot of cops, a lot of security in the hallway there, and we finally were able to get in the locker room and get off the ice.
Yeah, you had to go find an alternate exit.
Yeah, I was a little cold standing there on the bench, so I just went to the corner and got off the ice.
Well, Alex Johnson all warmed up now here in the locker room, and his team picked up 3 points this afternoon. That's your Schultz Roofing Coaches interview. Thank you.
Thank you, Will.
And that was Prowlers assistant coach Alex Johnson. That's going to do it for us here on the PHP Network. Plenty of thanks to go around. Back to our crew in Michigan. We had Christian Jackson, Kyle Cosson, Andres Hyde, and Liz Brown. Sean Detve was running the graphics. Aiden Bricker is helping me out here in Watertown. For Brady Beaton, I'm Will Wiggleman, here reminding you one more time that we will be back on the air on Thursday when the Prowlers visit the Indiana Sentinels. Puck drop is scheduled for 6:30 p.m. But for now, have a great rest of your Sunday evening as the Prowlers took down the Watertown Wolves in Watertown.